I didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it.
Wait, what should we email Seth Rogen's mom? Can we do this all as a show? Can we have her?
Is that your Seth Rogen impression?
Sound like Beavis and Butthead. So we have to figure out, what do we want to write to Seth Rogen?
Let's ask Seth to come on the show and talk to the Weedos.
He would be like their Pied Piper.
She's going to get him to do a cameo. That's what's going to end up happening.
Where are we going to pay? What a deal. Way to know people in high places.
She gets a 25% off discount.
I know what the cameo would say. Be, hey, I heard you were on a cruise with my mom. Cool.
And that costs $600.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
9 days left until the NFL season, and there is no team that's had a better offseason than the New York Jets. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff across the country on CBS Sports Radio. Perloff, I defy you to find another team that has a better offseason than the Jets. The preseason is now over. You're going through cut-down day, which can be emotional for a lot of players who are getting cut and rosters are getting trimmed. But unequivocally, the Jets have had the best preseason, the best offseason, the best everything before the season kicks off 9 days from now.
Okay, I get this is 100% about Aaron Rodgers, right?
No, there's more than just Aaron
Rodgers. But every other move besides Aaron Rodgers is not that great. So I feel like the PFF's, Pro Football Focus, will give the Jets kind of a low grade because the Rodgers move is great, obviously, but it's high risk and they gave up a lot. After that, though, what are these moves that are good?
You know what's high risk? Playing Zach Wilson. That would have been high risk to everyone who wanted to keep a job at the Jets for the next 6 months.
But they could have gotten a quarterback elsewhere. I'm just saying, look at these they brought in a bunch of old guys. Like Randall Cobb, McCole Hardman, Alan Lazard. These are not great moves on there. They're kind of risky veteran moves. I don't think you're just getting it for Rodgers. And then they drafted a guy they clearly didn't want to draft. They wanted to tackle, even though they say they didn't. So I don't know. Like, other than Rodgers, what is the move?
They wanted depth pieces behind Garrett Wilson, who could become, is already a really great wide receiver, could become one of the best in the NFL this year if the Rodgers connection is real. They already had a good defense, and so going up from that, I mean, they have completely changed their outlook, going from a team that won 7 games last year to a legit Super Bowl contender. Not, a nice story that ended the season on a high note, and now Detroit Lions, Pittsburgh Steelers, okay, now we're expecting things. This is a legit Super Bowl contender because of Rodgers. I don't understand the Rodgers high-risk thing. Like,
well, you're bringing in a 40-year-old quarterback. If this fails, then where are you left as a franchise?
Well, you weren't going anywhere with Zach Wilson, so you'd have the exact same question to ask yourself, and you are going to be starting over again anyway. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I can't find another team who increased their fortunes, who changed their perception more than the Jets. People are going to hate it. People in Wisconsin, are going to hate hearing about Aaron Rodgers all the time. I know people are sick of the hype and the season hasn't even started, but just from a football perspective, they have increased their fortunes and bettered themselves better than anybody this offseason.
Well, I think there are a few teams that have seen their odds jump. I think the number one team, though, is the Pittsburgh Steelers for a few reasons. One, I think it's just like the Jets. Some guys are getting older. By the way, you can't count Garrett Wilson getting older as part of a great offseason, even though that's such a big deal. But I think the Steelers, basically everything they had wrong with their team, they immediately addressed and got better. And I like sort of this quiet, steady improvement in the offseason instead of the big dramatic offseason. It worked once with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, but generally...
And with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, but nobody gave the Rams. Yeah, the Rams, that was a very complicated. It wasn't just because of Stafford. They had been building a lot of things over the last 4 years before that. But look at what the Steelers did. They strengthened their offensive line, got Isaac Seumalo, who's going to be really good. They drafted a tackle. Okay. I don't think he's going to really make an impact now, Broderick Jones. But
he's not starting right now. But the other guy's a guard. Okay.
Yeah, well, which is a big deal now. Guards are a much bigger deal. But they got these quarterbacks. They signed Patrick Peterson and drafted Joey Porter Jr., who looks like he's going to be good. They got a linebacker, Cole Holcomb. The way that team is, when TJ Watt's on the field, the quarterback has to get rid of the ball. You're going to see those cornerbacks just feast on bad passes everywhere. And I think that's why everybody's high on them, because I don't know, they just seem like they're making all the right moves to complement Kenny Pickett Jr.
I'm just going to say that Perloff is somebody and I don't want to speak out of turn here, but you think that when a guy turns 30, his career is over.
Well, what position?
Okay, well, running backs, you say what, 27? Wide receiver is 30.
26.
Okay, sorry. 26.
Except for Derrick Henry.
He was ageless. 26 for running backs.
Wide receiver 30, yep.
What do you think for corner?
Well, I think...
Not for the sake of this argument.
Yeah. No, I think that I'm going to ignore my previous advice. Listen,
Patrick Peterson's 33. I'm just going to say
I'm not in love with Patrick Peterson.
Okay, and Cam Sutton's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the Steelers... first of all, I'm looking at all these lists. I looked at 10 lists for this, and everyone has the Steelers at the top.
Okay, well, just because groupthink is not a good thing.
Yeah, but winning the March press conference is not a good thing either. That's exactly what the Jets did. They feel like last year's Broncos. They honestly, they feel exactly like last year's Broncos.
Here's how they're not. When you had a motivated Aaron Rodgers after the Packers originally took Jordan Love in the 2020 draft in the first round, what did Rodgers go on to do?
Win the NFC North, the crappy NFC North, and flame out in the playoffs like he does every year?
Back-to-back MVPs. I thought you were going to say that. 2 MVPs, rather. 2 MVPs after Jordan Love gets drafted. This is a guy who changes with a chip on his shoulder. That's not a knock on him. It's the reality. We've seen it happen. Now he's got the ultimate chip. Look how he's come into New York. This, motivated, kumbaya, everybody on the same page, caring about guys, also holding them accountable, being present. I mean, all these things that were criticisms of him at the end of his Packers tenure, he's now completely flipped. He's so bought in, and I think partially it's to, rub it in the Packers' faces.
I can't believe you buy all that crap. I mean, that is such a 2-month-long series of garbage. All that. Who
you think
cares
none of
about
it's true?
I'm an analytic guy. I don't want to hear kumbaya. I don't care what he says in the press conference.
No.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Here's the thing. He's actually putting in the work with these young guys to try to get them ready. That was the criticism at the end in the Packers, right? He just didn't care to show up to OTAs and all that stuff. He felt like, hey, you go learn the offense, and once you get a handle on it, then I'll come in as the PhD level and and we'll all be on the same page. Now he's in there getting his hands dirty, actually helping get these guys and bring them all together with Nathaniel Hackett. So I'm not just buying something he's saying in a press conference. I'm watching what they're doing on the field, or I think I am.
No, you're not.
He's out there at practice
every
day. You're
watching Hard Knocks, which is a publicity stunt.
Well, it is for every team.
And a good one at that.
Yeah, and you're watching press conferences, which are a publicity stunt. And, yeah, by the way, I kind of agree that all of these good things are going to happen to the Jets. But just because those things are, this is what an off-season storyline is. And how many times do we say you don't win a Super Bowl in April and May and June, or even in August or July? You win it in February. That is factually a fact.
Yes, it is factually a fact. Thank you, Dartmouth.
Except when the Super Bowl used to be in January, and then you won the Super Bowl in January.
I know, but I think a lot of why you are saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking great to you and why you think they've had the best offseason is a couple things. Because of how they finished last year and because of the reputation and then what you've seen in preseason.
Yes.
Okay, so those 3 things are kind of flimsy as well. Not the reputation. That's real. They're a solid franchise. They're one of the marquee franchises in the league. But what you saw last year, every season's different. And then what you're seeing in the preseason, I can show you a million good passes and bad passes from the preseason. That does not mean when you get to the season, all of a sudden it's going to be smooth sailing.
Okay. The thing about Aaron Rodgers is, yes, you can't say, in my mind, you can't say they won the offseason because there were many other teams that could have looked at Aaron Rodgers, and they were not interested. Yeah. So there's got to be a reason because this is a risk. They're bringing in a 40-year-old quarterback. It worked once with Tom Brady. Stafford was younger, but there's a lot of, there's some downside here. It might not work, and you might be sort of out to sea as a franchise. And last year, I would say,
he took a $35 million pay cut. Out to see what? The draft picks?
They have nothing. Honestly, I would say last year, except for quarterback, everything was trending up. I mean, there would have been other solutions at quarterback. It's not like Aaron Rodgers was the only thing they could do.
Jimmy G? What are you doing?
You could have drafted a guy. You could have done a lot of things.
No, this organization could not draft another guy. You whiffed on Zach Wilson at 2 overall. You got to take a break. You got to sit the next couple plays out. So you might have
a short-term win here, but that's not – I mean, listen, you obviously have been demonized by the Patriots your whole life.
Yeah.
It's not a one-year thing. Great off seasons build champions. This sort of feels like this is
Microwave.
a one or 2 year risk.
Yeah. I don't see it as a risk because where were the Jets going? Like, they have a team that was ready to take the next step. Like last year, the defense took a step forward, and it was just the offense was really bad because the quarterback play was so bad. Like Garrett Wilson still at over 1,000 yards receiving with 4 different crappy quarterbacks.
Well, they were obviously going to get some veteran quarterback, or get a veteran quarterback and draft somebody. They were lucky to get Rodgers, and Rodgers is motivated. All that's true. There's no guarantee this works out great. I'm looking last time Favre came, you might have thought a lot of these same things.
Yeah, well, and they were playing well until he got hurt, and that was a good team that Favre came on to.
Okay.
They were okay until he got hurt, and then it went off the rails. Listen, if Rodgers gets hurt, yes, there's nothing I can do about that. But if you're talking about other options in terms of veteran quarterbacks that were out there.
Could have gotten Carson Wentz.
Yeah, phenomenal. From where? The gutter? Carson Wentz still doesn't have a team.
I was joking.
We destroyed his poster, and there's been no Carson's Corner to speak of. If you're watching the show, by the way, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio.
I mean, there is one common factor.
What's that?
With the Broncos. They are this year's Broncos in the sense that
it's funny we're not talking about...
brought your favorite coach, Nathaniel Hackett, with them.
I know. Well, as long as he's not making calls on whether to go for it or kick a field goal, we're okay.
I've seen it so many times. Last year was a great example. We get so hyped up for all these offseason changes, and then something completely unpredictable happens.
I think it's interesting that you and I did not even consider the Broncos when talking about who has had the best offseason, because you could make a case with Sean Payton being a massive upgrade at coach, that they would be the team that had the best offseason. And they spent over $200 million in free agency.
Yeah, but already the same thing that happened last year is happening to them again. People are getting hurt. Tim Patrick out, Jerry Jeudy out maybe half the season. This was bad last year, and you're already seeing signs that I think it's going to be very hard to overcome this. And that's just the beginning. I feel by week 5, that whole team's going to be on IR.
Man, I would love to... Like, we're big on bets on this show and future bets. Like, in 5 years, first of all, do you think Russell Wilson is starting every game this year? If he's healthy?
Yes. That's a great question. It's a great question.
And then secondly, in 3 years, are the coach and quarterback combo still together?
Oh, no way.
Shot, right?
Sean Payton will be there, I think. It's a great situation. They have more money than anywhere. It's an amazing city. He's going to build something. He was at New Orleans forever. I think this is a great long-term move. I think Payton's a great coach, but this year is going to be tough. First of all, the AFC is so ridiculously loaded. I think Payton's fine. I think it's a great spot. It's a great facility.
They traded first-round picks for him, so...
Yeah, it's a great facility. I think they're going to be all in. Just you got to give them some time. No, I agree with... I think what you're saying is it doesn't look like Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are a long-term marriage.
I don't get those vibes. Maybe it's not starting out with the warm and fuzzies. Yeah, Samper.
That jumps into a conclusion before the season even starts, but we just don't know. Their backup is Jarrett Stidham, though, so I don't think
backup for now. They love them some Jarrett Stidham.
They must, I guess, but it's not like Jarrett Stidham is like the future quarterback. He's a fine backup to have there. But
he played well for the Raiders. They traded for him, or signed him on the first day of free agency.
Yeah. If you missed the Jarrett Stidham hype train, there, our buddy Mike Lombardi, basically guarantees Stidham will have that job halfway through the season. I swear, don't laugh. He's like, Stidham is a better quarterback right now. Are we
making another bet? Jarrett Stidham will be starting without Russell. Russell Wilson will get benched for Jarrett Stidham this year.
I'm not doing that bet. I'm just asking the questions over here, okay? I'm asking the questions about why is there not any positivity around the Broncos right now, considering they made also appreciable upgrades this year, starting with the head coach. And we're not talking about it.
You guys know my Jarrett Stidham story, right?
You got a Stidham story?
Oh, my God.
Wait,
you guys do not know this whole story?
I know. No. This is an emotional day for Perloff because there's a lot of cuts going on.
Yeah, Nathan Peterman got cut, my guy. Jarrett Stidham, you know the story. I've told you this. I went down to do a story on Texas high school football, and it was
for Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, it was a 3,000-word story. The first 2,000 were on Jarrett Stidham, who was a junior, and was pretty much the number one recruit. And the second...
What high school in Texas?
Jarrett Stidham went to Stephenville, which is his famous country Texas quarterback machine. Jevin Sneed went there.
Is it East Texas or West Texas?
It's South Texas.
Oh, okay.
It's near Dallas.
Got it.
And then there was this other, it was a 7-on-7 tournament. There was this other quarterback who everyone was like, he's really, really good, but he's not going to play football. He's going to play baseball like his dad.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Words 2,000 to 3,000 were about Patrick Mahomes. Mark Maravik, SI football editor, cut the Mahomes part.
No!
Mark calls me last year. He goes, hey, Andrew, I was looking at the weirdest thing. In the year 2014, we had a photographer following Patrick Mahomes around all day. Did you know we had these old photos? I'm like, yeah, you cut all my Patrick Mahomes stuff.
Oh, my goodness. So the Jarrett Stidham stuff all remained in the SI article, and all the Mahomes stuff got cut.
It was an article about how there's a lot of young Texas quarterbacks coming up at the time, and Stidham was my guy. Stidham has this great backstory. He's a really interesting guy. He was going to go, I forget what, he was going to go to Tech, and then he went to Baylor. Long story short, Mahomes, everyone there is like, yeah, he's great, but he's definitely playing baseball.
Yeah, they were all really wrong.
You know? Yeah, you watch him play, and he kind of looks like a baseball player. You don't remember his dad. You're a Mets fan, right?
Yeah, I do remember his dad.
Was his dad good?
Mahomes. He was a relief pitcher. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm still mad at SI for that because I could have been the first one in on Patrick Mahomes.
You're lucky that Patrick Mahomes didn't hold that against SI. Because sometimes people get prickly about that.
No, are you kidding me? I saw him 2 years ago at the Super Bowl. I said, do you remember that? He's like, I have no memory of you doing that at all.
Okay. He's had a few profiles written on
him. And those 1,000 words on Patrick Mahomes were about, this guy is going to be the future star. If he decides to play football, he's going to be the best quarterback I've ever seen. I'm sure you saw it back then.
Yeah, no, I did not write that either. I'm like, yeah, but I do remember it was a 7-on-7 thing. And Patrick Mahomes, the 7-on-7 field, I don't even know how long it is. It might be 70 yards. He was at the back of one end zone and threw it to the other end zone. I was like, are you supposed to be able to do that? Like, Jarrett Stidham's a high recruit. He can't do that. And everyone's like, Mahomes was super polite. All Texas kids are polite, but he was the most polite kid. He's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm like, are you going to keep calling me sir?
Yeah, it's like nobody calls Perloff sir.
Yeah.
Not even people are like paid to do so. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, quickly, let's get to Jeff, who's in Pittsburgh, has got a thought on Rodgers. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Oh, great. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Hey, good news, Maggie. Rodgers, historically, when he was with the Packers, always struggled against the Bills. I think he only beat the Bills once. I'm not positive on that, but he always struggled. And another thing, let's just say the Jets get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
The teams they would have to play are all cold weather teams, and contrary to popular belief, Rodgers stinks in cold weather. Green Bay fans love it, but Rodgers, he always crapped the bed when a playoff game was in the cold.
Jeff, thank you so much for the call. You know,
that's not wrong.
Okay, but I'm reading here. Rodgers, 18 years, 6-3 in the postseason when contests played in below freezing temperatures. When games or conditions at 32 degrees or lower, his winning rate increased. So I don't know. Is that really true?
Well, I mean, he screwed up that game against the Niners a couple years ago.
Sure, we have that anecdotally that it looked really bad when the weather got really cold.
Okay, so 2011. Weren't they did they lose a cold playoff game? I can't remember which.
Why are you bringing out that year specifically?
Well, they lost a cold playoff game to the Giants. Was it the 07 or 11? It was ridiculously cold. I can't remember what it was. Favre or Rodgers. I have no memory.
It was when Tom Coughlin got like
and Plax had a big game. That must have been Favre. But that was the coldest game, and the Packers blew that at home.
Yeah.
So there is a sort of anecdotal memory. But that being said, it's not like the Bills quarterback, when there's snow right before the game, has excelled in recent playoff years.
Yeah, no kidding. Now I'm reading another Wisconsin sports website. During the Rodgers era, Green Bay has a record of 5-5 in games that are under 15 degrees or colder at kickoff since Rodgers became the starter in 2008. Worth noting, Rodgers missed 2 of those games. So Green Bay's record with Aaron Rodgers, games 15 degrees or colder, 4-4.
Huh. Well,
15 degrees or colder. I mean, that's really freaking cold.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're the Packers quarterback and your winning percentage is probably 80% for your career, something ridiculous, that should be pretty good. That's a little disappointing, no? I mean, what do you think his career winning percentage is? It's a lot higher than 50%.
Higher. Yeah, but it's also the playoffs, so it's different. It's going to be harder.
Well, I mean, listen, I think he was very disappointing, and the whole team was disappointing. That game against San Francisco that they lost on the block punt,
yep.
That Packers team was supposed to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the year. And remember, he was walking off, and it's just like, how did this happen to me?
Totally. And I would say the NFC Championship game against Brady, where Brady throws the 3 second-half picks, there were no fans in the stands. It was different, but that was an unseasonably warm day in Green Bay. Remember that?
Yes, that's a good point, too. But Rodgers did play pretty well in that game. They just didn't let him throw the ball on fourth down. We're holding the grudge for Rodgers on that one. 855-212-4CBS. You're welcome to weigh in. Who had the best off season? I say it's the Jets unequivocally. Perloff says it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming up, one of an NFL coach makes a stunning admission. We'll tell you what he said and why it matters next. Don't move. This show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life, we're faced with tough choices. Perloff, and the path forward, it's not always clear. So whether you're dealing with decisions around your career, relationships, or really anything else, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values, it's like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. And therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. You know, we've all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome to the Maggie and Perloff Show. We're debating the best offseason. I say the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maggie says the New York Jets, which has raised an interesting side debate. Will Aaron Rodgers flame out in the playoffs for the Jets because he's not good in cold weather, which is interesting because he was the Packers quarterback, the coldest city in the entire league. And the truth is he did have mixed results in the playoffs. I think it's bizarre because we were talking about MVPs. He won 2 MVPs, number 1 seed. He should have made the Super Bowl one of those years, but he definitely let them down in cold weather against the Niners.
Mm-hmm. That Niner game, I mean, no doubt he's got to wear it because they had a chance for that drive late in the second half, and it stalled. And, yeah, when I think of Rodgers, though, I don't think of a guy who's bad in cold weather.
No, I mean, he's been great in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't see – I think his record is mixed. It's like literally 500 in games where it's 15 degrees or below, 15 degrees or below. But I don't think of him as a bad weather quarterback.
Well, it's funny. You mean a bad weather
bad weather quarterback. Pardon.
But the caller did have a good point. It's likely you're going to be in New York or Buffalo or Kansas City.
You might be in Miami.
I don't think. I feel like Miami to get home field.
Yeah.
A lot has to go right
might be
there.
in Cincinnati. It's not warm there in January.
No, it is not. Cincinnati, Kansas City, Baltimore.
By the way, can we get a Joe Burrow update? Have we heard anything?
Have we heard anything about Nick Bosa or Chris? Nick Bosa is supposed to be looking good, but Chris Jones, it's getting close to the season.
9 days. Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Anthony is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hey, Anthony, how are you?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, hanging. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I just got a couple of things real fast.
Sure.
I need to first apologize to my man Perloff. A couple of weeks ago, I went off on him, and it kind of hurt my feelings because that's not me. So from me to you, Andrew, I apologize for the way I acted.
Apology accepted.
Wait, what'd you say?
Is that when we were talking about LeBron?
Yeah, that was a great debate. We're not going to rehash that.
Okay.
I was aggravated. I was in the moment of the, anyway, that wasn't my character, and I apologize completely to you.
Totally understand. LeBron debates drive us all mad. I'm right there with you,
Brings out the
Anthony.
worst in us, all of us, yeah.
As far as Rodgers, I want nothing but the best for him, but I kind of see him as the kid that used to live next door that everyone always knew was friendly, the sports jock. Now he moved to a new school, so he's Mr. Popular. Everyone likes him.
Yeah.
Give him a couple of weeks. He might fall right back in his groove, and he might give up. I mean, I wish the man nothing but luck, but he always gives up at the wrong times, like underneath the smallest circumstances, hot or cold weather.
Yeah, right. You know, Anthony, it's interesting. Thank you for the phone call and water under the bridge. All around. But
I totally agree with that point. He is the new kid in the high school.
He is. He's got a little mystique.
Yeah.
There's a little mystery around him, and it's different. He gets to come in and be like the BMOC, big man on campus.
I switched schools in 5th grade. Oh man, 3 weeks of just being a stud, Maggie.
Oh, you?
And then it went downhill after that.
Best 3 weeks of your life.
I came in. It was like, whoa! Who's this guy?
And then they got to know you.
Yeah, he's 5'11" and weighs 83 pounds in 5th grade.
Pure steel, though, right?
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I never got to go through one of those. I got to go to college, and then it's like, oh, now I can be who I want to be. It turns out the exact same person I was.
There is definitely something about novelty, though, where it feels fresh. I think what Anthony's saying, what if Rodgers gets hit? What if somebody misses a block and he tweaks his ankle and has to miss a week? Are these good feelings going to last? I think that's a really good question.
Well, Randall Cobb was on last week's episode of Hard Knocks. There'll be a new episode tonight, obviously, but he's on last week's episode, and he's like, listen, if you make a mistake, Rodgers isn't going to trust you, and he's not going to throw you the ball. And he said also he's going to ream you out, and he's going to get ornery. So
yeah,
that's
definitely
old Aaron Rodgers. Okay, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So we'll see how long the honeymoon lasts. Meanwhile, this has been a unique offseason for the Commanders. I think Washington has people's respect in terms of the defense, Perloff, and there are playmakers on offense. It's obviously a big question mark about Sam Howell. And Ron Rivera has stepped in it a couple times, and we haven't even played a game yet. Now, you'll remember a couple weeks ago, Ron Rivera was basically had to apologize after he let the world know that players were complaining about Eric Bieniemy. So, Jack, let's play clip 4. This is Ron Rivera on August 8th.
Yeah, I mean, they have. And I had a number of guys come to me and I said, hey, just go talk to him. I said, understand what he's trying to get across to you, you know. And I think as they go and they talk and they listen to him, it's been enlightening for a lot of these guys. Again, you get a different kind of player from the players back in the past. Especially in light of how things are coming out of college football. So a lot of these young guys, you know, they do struggle with certain things.
Yeah, and he went on to say, listen, as a head coach, me and Jack Del Rio was a former head coach. We used to adapt ourselves to the personality of the players. Bieniemy is not doing that. It's his way or the highway. And just basically, you know, listen, we appreciate it on the outside. We get a little intel, Perloff, but just a lot. He let us in on something that we didn't need to know about.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, it's a pattern here where he says too much. So, but again, I don't think that Eric Bieniemy thing really ended up costing him in any real way. I mean,
no, but it was a story for a little bit.
Yeah, but honestly, it's been a good offseason.
So yesterday, Albert Breer's column in SI.com, he's talking about Ron Rivera was recalling a story where he's talking to his wife, and he said, all we bleeping talked about was the quarterback. I kept saying, bleep, if I had known this, I would have played him sooner. So basically saying about Sam Howell, Perloff, that if he knew that Howell was better, he would have played him sooner. Right. And that is not sitting right with a lot of people.
Who are these people that's not sitting right with? Like, what? Tell me why they're mad.
Me, Samter. I don't know how Jack feels about this.
Why does it not sit right?
So here's the thing. It's a weird self-own. It's a weird admission when you are talking about the most important position on the field, whether it's the quarterback, backup quarterback, maybe even third-string quarterback, which Howell was last year as a fifth-round pick, to have someone in the building who is progressing really well behind the scenes, and as the head coach, you are unaware of it.
I mean, that's a one way of putting it. Do you think that's really what was happening? Like, oh, Sam Howell was going out there and killing it during last season, and nobody told Ron Rivera?
Well, if I would have known, I would have played him sooner.
No, I think.
How am I supposed to take that?
I think it means he saw him in week 7 to 18, the last week of the season. Then he saw him during the offseason. He's like, wow, I didn't know this kid was that good. Because guess what happens during regular season? The backup quarterback and the third-string quarterback get no play whatsoever. They don't get reps. How is he going to learn that he's better? Just by just sort of looking him up and down in the locker room? There's no way to tell that this young kid is getting better. It's a fifth-round pick.
I know, but guys have to be, maybe they're not getting reps with the first-teamers.
They're not really getting real reps at all, though.
But they're putting in work, right? What are they doing? Sitting around with a clipboard? That's only on game day.
They might be throwing on the sideline. I mean, this is very relevant to Trey Lance being in Dallas. There's no way for coaches to evaluate a third-string quarterback during the season. From what I understand, it's not happening. Like, they're not running plays of any meaningful. All season long, the coaches are worried about one thing. That's preparing for next Sunday's game. Okay. They have no time to worry about that.
Okay, but I'm just thinking, wouldn't one of your coaches report to you, hey, looks like this Howell kid's really picking things up?
But he was, okay.
And then he did start that last week of the season, week 18. He went 11 for 19, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
Right. He might say, yeah,
sacks.
this Howell kid looks really good. But it wasn't like week 12 or something. It's like, oh, my God, you screwed up so bad because you didn't put Sam Howell in there, right? I mean, is it that big? Does it make any difference whether you played him or not?
Well, listen, we got the same outcome this year because he's the quarterback this year, Sam Howell. But last year, the Commanders were actually in a playoff hunt down the stretch, and Taylor Heineke played. Then Taylor Heineke got benched, and then Carson Wentz went back out on the field, and he was awful. And that's why Carson Wentz doesn't have a team right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Sam Howell really was good, maybe he did catch a little lightning in a bottle. Hell, we watched Brock Purdy win 8 in a row on a very good 49ers team, but no one saw that coming.
And how many times has that happened in history, the 104-year history of NFL?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
0.
Brock Purdy was a 7th-round pick. Sam Howell was, what, a 5th-round pick?
So, okay, I don't know why I'm getting mad about this, but you're saying you're killing you're killing a coach because in week 13 he didn't turn to the 5th-round, 3rd-string quarterback.
No, I'm not. I'm killing a coach, and I'm not killing him, by the way. I find it, like, alarming a bit that somebody at the most important position in the sport, when it's not like your quarterback situation for the 1st string and the 2nd string is real solidified in stone here. And the fact that someone could be getting that much better behind the scenes and you don't know.
Well,
it's going on under your watch.
If he had said this in week 17, that's different. But obviously he's playing Monday morning quarterback here. He's not like I miss it. And I don't think that Sam Howell was so impressive in week 13 or something. I think he's seeing him now and be like, oh, that guy was good. I should have played him last year.
Right.
But there's no way he could have known that. When did Sam Howell join the team? May 1st or something? Or
after the
5th round pick, 3rd round draft. So he came in May 1st, had some mini camps. They were trying to find a starter. I don't know. It just feels he was a 5th-round pick. It's not like he was a number 5 overall pick.
No, people were surprised he fell to the 5th round, and he was being scouted. It's not like he came from East West State University. He came from UNC.
Right, but it's an incredible aberration to play a 5th-round quarterback in their rookie year. It never happens.
Yeah, but Brock Purdy happened while we were watching it. 7th-round pick out of necessity. So the Commanders also had a necessity.
And I don't think anyone's really killing or getting on Rivera for not playing Howell sooner. It's the fact that he's saying, I should have known. I should have known sooner.
Right.
You're the coach. Of course you should have known sooner. Who else would have known except for you? You're the coach. You watch the most important position on the field. Who cares if he's a 3rd-string guy? If he's looking good as a 3rd-string guy, make him the 2nd-string guy. Give him more reps. Yes, you should have known sooner. That's the whole point. The fact that you didn't know sooner is the reason why people are getting on his case.
But it's so different because he called it out himself. It's not like somebody was saying Ron Rivera screwed this up and should have known. It's a self-own. Like, you can't ding the guy
for that. King of self-own.
You can't really ding the guy because he said it himself. If somebody else said that about Ron Rivera, maybe we could have a discussion. But he said it about himself. I think it's just a way to compliment his quarterback.
No,
I don't know.
No, you're not wrong. I give him some credit for self-owning himself, and he does mea culpa whenever he makes a mistake, and he does make a lot of verbal mistakes, and things come out of his mouth, and you're like, how did he say that?
But this is, of all the mistakes that have been made in Washington, this is such a mild one, because it didn't matter if he played. There's no actual repercussion of this supposed mistake.
Well, I mean, they were 7-5-1 before they lost 3 straight, and then Sam Howell came in. They finished 8-8. Who knows? Maybe they could have made a run for, a better spot, a home field game in the playoffs. Who knows?
No, they wouldn't get home field. The Eagles would have killed that. But
no, well, the Eagles won the division. You can still get home field as a wild card.
Yeah, that might be a little bit hard. But
no, I mean, they just pushing for the playoffs in general.
Yeah,
not
playoffs in general,
or even just making the playoffs. I'm just saying that when you're 7-5-1, you're looking at
they were squarely in the hunt, and that was what led to another weird one from Ron Rivera. This was from last season, where clip number 5, Jack, when he was, he didn't know that the Commanders could be on the brink of elimination.
If you guys are eliminated today by what happens at 4 o'clock, is Sam Howell in consideration?
We can be eliminated?
Yeah, if the Packers beat the Vikings, then you guys are eliminated.
News to him. I don't know. We talked about that at the time.
Honestly, there's so many other issues with Ron Rivera. Like, this means nothing. By the way, Heineke, the game that cost him the playoffs, Heineke had a pretty good game. So you're saying when they lost the Giants, that was it? The playoffs were basically done? Heineke was 17 for 29, 249, 1 touchdown. You're saying if they played Sam Howell, something different would have happened? Because I feel like that's a huge stretch.
Not necessarily. Again, Monday morning quarterback, I'm not looking back and saying what could have been. What I'm saying is, as the head coach, you're supposed to know these things. And
But it's a figure of speech. It's a figure of speech. He's not saying I overlooked. He's like, gosh, you know what? When I was game planning for Week 16, I should have been watching Sam Howell having a catch with Jahan Dotson in the back of the tip. Of course, he's not going to watch that.
Well, that's also coaching your coaches.
No, but this is a subtlety.
Bill Belichick ever come out and say, I should have known that
they
Tom
weren't
Brady
going to
would
play. They weren't going to sit Heineke for Howell last year. It just wasn't going to happen. So it's irrelevant.
Sure, but admitting that you didn't know that Howell was going to, if you knew Howell was going to be good but chose not to start him because Heineke was the best option at that moment, fine. To say you had no idea how good he was going to be, you wish you had known sooner. Yes, of course you should have known sooner. You're the damn head coach.
It's a figure of speech.
I just looked at first coach fired odds on the internet. Ron Rivera, not the top of the list.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know who it is?
Yeah, who's the guy who's on the super, super hot seat? Well, I don't.
So right now, the plus 350, forgive us if this sounds a little mean, but just saying, Todd Bowles and then Kevin Stefanski. So Buccaneers head coach, then Browns head coach, then Ron Rivera, then Josh McDaniels, and then Brandon Staley. Yeah. And I would have thought Brandon Staley from the Chargers would have been the top of the list.
Yeah. I wonder if your guy Sean McDermott's on there.
He is not. McVay, and then they go to the field.
Yeah.
After that. Okay. You're welcome to weigh in. 855-212-4CBS. Coming up, one college football quarterback as a hobby we guarantee is going to surprise you. We'll get to that after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, boat, RV, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. NFL rosters need to be at 53 in another 20 minutes from now. The Ravens have just released Melvin Gordon, while DeMar Hamlin has made the Bills roster as he comes back from a cardiac episode last January in which he was revived on the field in Cincinnati. The Bills are keeping Von Miller on the PUP list as he recovers from a knee injury. Bills also sending former second-round pick Boogie Basham to the Giants. And after 7 seasons in New Orleans, Will Lutz is being moved, dealt to the Broncos, where he's reunited with Sean Payton. Denver releasing kicker Brett Maher, and the Patriots have sent Nick Folk to the Tennessee Titans. The Carolina Panthers wanted some depth at linebacker, so they signed Deion Jones last month, but were satisfied with that position and released the veteran today. The Panthers also acquiring Amir Smith-Marset from the Chiefs. Kansas City releasing defensive back Deion Bush and defensive lineman Danny Shelton. Ohio State going with Kyle McCord as its starting quarterback. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, it's DA. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
And I have no sponsor today, yes? Oh, probably. No sponsor today? Do I have a sponsor attached to this today? I do not. Okay. This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute. This is Maggie Gray with a CBS Sports Minute. If you're wondering how folks in Wisconsin are feeling about Aaron Rodgers no longer being on the Packers, Jack's American Pub might give you a hint. Jack's American Pub might give you a hint. The Milwaukee-based bar is running a promotion where they will pay your entire bar tab if the Jets lose. Now, there is some fine print. For example, Rodgers has to be playing in the game. It doesn't include food, and the Jets can't be playing at the same time as the Packers, which is only scheduled to happen 4 times this season. But Wisconsin fans celebrating a Jets loss with free booze? Message sent. I'm Maggie Gray.
Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Financial, stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Now, this one's a bit of a doozy. UCLA has a running back, and his name is Carson Steele.
Great running back
awesome name.
Fantastic name. We're all in agreement.
Sounds like an adult film star, but it's
If this doesn't work out, maybe he's got a future.
Steele.
He's already in LA. Just head to the Valley and turn on the camera.
2 E's or E-A-L?
E-E-L-E.
Oh, that's even better with the E at the end.
No, it's a strong name.
All right, guys. Geez, towel off. Okay, so Carson Steele is a running back for UCLA, for the Bruins. That's not the most interesting thing about him. The fact that as a child, his father used to make him push a car as like a workout when he was like 8. That's not the most interesting thing about him. The fact that he's from the small town in Indiana and then played at Ball State and then transferred to UCLA. That's not the most interesting thing about him. The fact that he has long blonde hair and has the nickname Fabio. Thor is also something people call him. That's not the most interesting thing about him. No,
that's all interesting. What do we got?
The most interesting thing about Carson Steele is that he has a pet alligator. The alligator's name, Crocky J.
Crocky J, yeah. So it's an alligator with a nickname Crocky?
Yeah.
Confusing. Bro.
I know, but I like it.
It's like people who name their dog Cat or vice versa.
I know. Silly, but let's stay with the cool part of this. So he's got an alligator. He got it as a gift as a kid. It came via like UPS or something, like in a burlap bag. Oof. That his parents ordered it from Florida, and it got delivered to Indiana. He's been keeping the pet alligator at their family home, which he admits is like pretty rural and out in Indiana. Crocky J is now 5.5 feet long. He keeps outgrowing his like habitats and like things like that. And this is like a lifelong pet.
Amazing.
I know.
So I know this is going to get into a whole alligator discussion. Can I just tell you another quick anecdote about an alligator?
Yeah,
I
sure.
met a guy on my vacation. And
Wait, is this the famous Europe trip?
This is Europe trip. Sorry, Seth.
Related to Seth Rogen?
No, he's not famous. But he had a 10-acre house in Houston.
Yeah.
He was in something related to oil, of course. He had a problem with snakes coming into his house.
Oh.
In fact, some dangerous snakes. So his neighbor said, what you have to do is buy an alligator and put it in the pond next to your house.
Yeah, but that's like you're trading one dangerous thing for another dangerous thing.
6 years of an alligator in his pond. The alligator never caused any problems, just sat in the pond, ate all the snakes went away. And then the alligator got too big and they had to pull it out.
And then where did they put it?
Then the snakes probably came back. He moved to South Carolina.
No, where did the alligator go?
Oh, to some other alligator place. I don't know.
Like the alligator farm in the sky?
Maybe the wild? Yeah, maybe a barbecue.
Aww.
But so is that something you could live with, Maggie? Say you had a 10-acre house and you need to get rid of snakes. Could you live with an alligator,
No.
6 foot? It was 6 to 8 feet.
No.
In your backyard.
No. I can't be anywhere near an alligator knowingly. Absolutely not. I'd be worried for myself. Any other pets? I'd be worried about my kid.
You've been to Florida. You're around alligators all the time.
But I'm not like, hanging out like my alligator alley with like my little kid, like my 4-year-old dangling out there like alligator food.
Well, yeah, but if you
don't golf.
If you go to a golf course, you play tennis. I mean, the alligators are everywhere.
Play tennis? It's fenced in.
Well, they just generally hang out near water. So if there's water near your tennis court, then an alligator could wander by at any time.
I've been to Florida a million times. I got a ton of family there. I've seen alligators once in a while on the side of the road, once in a while on like the alligator alley, and like a swamp tour.
Yeah. I told you I kayaked with alligators recently.
So scary.
It's not. The locals say they're not scary at all, that they don't go after humans. They leave you alone.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't
that's
trust
what they've always
that.
said about sharks, and like how many shark attacks do we see every week now?
Also, all it takes is one. All it takes is one alligator who woke up on the wrong side of the bed. It's just like, I'm going to eat you today.
Listen, Mama said that alligators are angry or ornery because of their medulla oblongata.
Wait, rank your animals you're scared of. Are alligators top 5?
Well, you guys know I got a weird squirrel thing, but like, let's put that aside because that's just me.
It's scary. They might kill you.
Conventionally scary. Conventionally scary. Alligators to me number 1 because I'm not going. I'm not swimming in the ocean, so I'm not. Sharks are not like it's not real that I would get eaten by a shark because I don't go into that water.
So alligators are 5th for me.
What are the top?
Number 1 is sharks, as you all know. Number 2 is bears. They're a realistic problem.
For some reason, I feel like I could get out of a bear attack. Hubris. Go ahead.
That's a mistake. Number 3 is wasps.
3 is wasps?
Yeah.
No. Are you allergic?
I am allergic, and I knew a guy who died because a wasp stung it. It happens very often. 4th, you know what the most dangerous animal in the world is? Mosquitoes.
Well, malaria?
Yeah. 5th, alligators. Actually,
I feel like alligators are too low.
You're right. I was trying to be clever with mosquitoes.
I was going to say,
but I generally
mosquitoes.
No, but bears and sharks are so much more scary because alligators are slow and lazy. They have no interest in you.
Except for when they snap and then they drag you in the water and they're twisting you around and drowning you.
Hippopotamus kill a lot of people.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Seems so sweet.
I've heard that too.
Hippo is such a fun game. Hungry Hippo, they're eating us.
Mike, how do you rank your things you're terrified of?
Sharks are number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. Spiders are up there too. Ever seen Arachnophobia?
Spiders, come on, guys.
They're good for you. They kill the
You
mosquitoes.
ever seen the movie Arachnophobia with John Goodman?
No.
You'll never look at a spider again the same way.
So I'm not going to watch that movie. Coming up, the latest with Jim Harbaugh, 855-212-4CBS. Let us know what you think about alligators. Again, Jim Harbaugh, the latest next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Talking about sports triggers, Mike is in Pennsylvania, has got one.
We never should have let Jimmy Butler go.
No.
Come playoff time?
I was tickled by it. He's got a laugh that makes me laugh. People said Kawhi Leonard in the chat.
Yes. Very much. Wow. Maggie, I think the Sixers are going to win the NBA championship this year.
The Bills will win a Super Bowl.
Don't say that.
The Jets will have a solid, dependable, steady season with no drama.
That's so good.
Can I just do one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Mets are going to figure it out.
That's just mean. We're just piling on Maggie.
It's so easy.
I threw in the Jets, too.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Clock striking 4, which means the Colts have a decision to make on Jonathan Taylor. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is roster cut-down day in the NFL, but not just that, Perloff. The Colts had given Jonathan Taylor the sort of, unofficial deadline of Tuesday to find a trade because they also have to decide if they want to put him on the PUP list, so physically unable to perform list that would guarantee he's out for the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, Schefter literally just tweeted.
Oh, yeah?
He said, no deal. Indianapolis did not find what it felt was a fair value offer for Jonathan Taylor and is not trading the all-pro running back today, league sources tell ESPN. With no trade materializing, Taylor is now expected to remain on the physically unable to perform list, making him ineligible to play the first 4 games of the season.
All right, so this drama continues.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Josina Anderson, our friend, just tweeted that the real deadline is October 31st, which is the trade deadline, which to me says, hey, you know what? This is an unofficial deadline anyway. This still could end up in a trade.
Possibly. I just wonder, Miami did make a phone call, right?
Sure.
Reportedly did make an offer. The Dolphins were kind of in on a lot of running backs that were out there. They were did a little dance with Dalvin Cook. He ends up signing with the New York Jets. Now they looked at Jonathan Taylor. I think the Dolphins are going to be fine with the run game they have because that's the whole thing about a Kyle Shanahan or a Mike McDaniels offense. It's like you don't really – I know Christian McCaffrey really changed things for the 49ers last year, but that was more with his ability to be a slot receiver, I think. Like they'd have Deebo Samuel in the backfield. Like you can manufacture a run game even if you don't have like top-of-the-line talent at running back.
Right, and the funny thing is they have so much talent at wide receiver with Waddle and Hill. They don't run the ball ever anyway. Which I think is a real concern there, too. How are you going to feed Jonathan Taylor? Tyreek Hill got a lot of targets last year, and he would not be happy if he stopped getting those.
Well, he said he's going to have, how many yards did he say Tyreek Hill was going to have?
Oh, right, some crazy number.
Was it 2,000 yards receiving? What did he say?
Yeah. I think he's looking at the record, so I'm not even sure how that was going to work. What about, let me ask you your thoughts on this team. A lot of people in the last couple of days have been linking Jonathan Taylor to the Eagles.
Yeah.
I find it a tragedy that this did not happen. And I'll tell you why.
Wow. I didn't realize you felt so strongly. Okay.
Well, you'll find out why. Because they have a running back named DeAndre Swift. And if the two of them were sitting next to each other on the bench, you'd have Taylor Swift. We'd have Taylor Swift on the Eagles. It would be an amazing visual. All week long, we could send out photos. It wouldn't be fun. Come on, Taylor and Swift sitting next to each other.
I mean, do you sit around at night thinking about this stuff, or is this like things that come to you in the shower? Like, when do these thoughts appear?
They don't. They just appear. I can't. I try to sort of contain them, but I can't do it.
No off position on the genius switch, huh?
But I do think it's interesting that these contenders don't see Jonathan Taylor as valuable enough to give up a piece. Like, so he's not the missing piece. And if you think about it, Dalvin Cook joined the Jets. Is anyone saying, oh, now that Dalvin Cook is on the Jets, they're more of a Super Bowl contender? Because they already were a Super Bowl contender, but I don't feel like running back really makes that much of a difference.
Well, it's not about that. I think why it was smart for the Jets to do it is because they already have Breece Hall, who they really like as going into his second year, but he's coming off an injury. So signing Dalvin Cook allows you to maybe bring Breece Hall along a little bit slower. You're not throwing him into it. Like, it kind of made sense. You're kind of like, you'll lean on Dalvin Cook in the beginning of the year. Maybe you'll lean on Breece Hall at the end or whatever. It made sense. For Miami, they've got a lot of weapons. You're right. They don't really have a commitment to the run game like you would expect out of a Josh McDaniels offense. And I think Raheem Mostert's going to be fine.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson Jr. is good.
Jeff Wilson.
I think that Isaiah Pacheco being so good for Kansas City, a 7th-round pick last year, I think the general philosophy is you could throw in anybody.
It was going that way.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw. I'm sorry. So the Jets, honestly, if Breece Hall was healthy, or if it's a lot of Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook has had trouble staying healthy, it doesn't feel like it's a game changer for me one way or the other. So I understand why no one was going to give up a second-round pick just to pay Jonathan Taylor. And I love Jonathan Taylor. He's such a cool guy. He's hysterically funny. He's a really good running back. But it all depends on the situation. Not surprised at all this didn't happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it got ugly between him and Jim Irsay. And I was wondering if it's like, all right, if this is just a mandate that ownership says this guy's got to be out of the building, then he probably would be on the Dolphins right now. I don't know what the Dolphins offered, but clearly it got bad, but it didn't get bad enough that it was like, this guy can't be in the building on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, there's also this theory out there that Chris Ballard, the GM, was sending a message to Jonathan Taylor saying, hey, I'm going to put you out on the trade market, and you're going to see that your value is not what you think.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, because Irsay said that your agent is telling you you're worth all this money. That's just a lie. The market does not value you. Now the Colts can say, hey, we have actual evidence. The market does not value you like that.
The Giants did the same thing with Saquon Barkley. They said, go find a trade, and they couldn't find it. And it's a sad state for running backs. They're going to keep banging their head against the wall, trying to demonstrate their value when the rest of the league is just saying, listen, it's just there's too much supply for the amount of demand. Now, another way that we're going to continue to bang our heads against the wall, and it's amazing that Jim Harbaugh really has become like one of the Pied Pipers here of what is, I think, something we can all get behind. And it's about revenue sharing with the college football players between the schools, the players, and the like. So let's hear from Jim Harbaugh. He was speaking yesterday at his press conference as Michigan is set to open their season against East Carolina this weekend. He wants revenue sharing for athletes.
What I don't understand is how the NCAA, television networks, conferences, universities, and coaches can continue to pull in millions, and in some cases, billions of dollars in revenue off the efforts of college student athletes across the country without providing enough opportunity to share in the ever-increasing revenues. When student athletes call it a game, the corporate types call it a business. When the student athletes call it a business, the corporate types call it a game.
So that was Jim Harbaugh. I'm sorry, this is a very noble thing that he's doing here, and this is not the first time he's advocated for it. But why does it sound like he's testifying in front of Congress?
Yeah.
Well,
which, by the way, he should, because Congress would be very receptive to this message.
I'm sure, but like, why did that? He's reading off of a paper.
Yeah, very formal. Sounds like the Declaration of Independence or something. I mean, he's so right, and I think the sport's headed that way because we've seen how much has changed in the last 3 years. So much more player empowerment. Now I think people are saying like, "Oh, NIL is great, but why are we just giving him this? Why not give him more of this?" I watch these college games and I see a commercial from Microsoft, a commercial from Dr. Pepper, and a commercial from, I don't know, State Farm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they must have paid millions of dollars for that. And that kid out there risking a concussion is getting 0.0 out of that. I do think that eventually players are going to get paid, and they should.
Yeah, and also just how much are the TV networks paying these conferences for the rights to air the games? I mean, it is wild. I just don't know. I'm not sure how you do it, but that should never get in the way of not doing it. Just because I can't envision how do you do it without a union doesn't mean it shouldn't happen, doesn't mean that they shouldn't strive for it. Now, that's one part. The other part is, you and I talked about this not enough, but with Michigan on the verge of starting their season and everyone in earnest starting their season, you know, Jim Harbaugh has a 3-game self-imposed suspension. We did talk about that. How they're planning to make up for his absence is really weird.
The multiple coaches thing?
Yeah, so Jesse Minter is the defensive coordinator. He'll be the game day coach against East Carolina. That's September 2nd. Offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, Sharon Moore with the head coaching duties against Bowling Green. He'll split the coaching responsibilities against UNLV with special teams coordinator and safeties coach Jay Harbaugh handling the first half, and run game coordinator and running back coach Mike Hart leading the second half.
Okay.
Wow. Really?
Mike Hart, the former running back? Like that? So. Oh, yeah, he's like a hot coaching candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically, say this wasn't actual college football and it was NFL preseason, would you have a problem with it then? Because that's all this is.
Yeah, but yes, I know.
Because East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. This is Michigan, the number 2 team in the country. They're basically screwing around in preseason.
I watched Michigan lose to Appalachian State. I know. I'm just saying. I think App State was a sleeping giant. I just think it's odd to have one guy's going to be in the first half and one guy's going to coach in the second half.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. But it is kind of cool to give these guys the opportunity. I'm sure he wants to.
Harbaugh?
Yeah.
What do we think that is?
I think that's kind of cool. You said it was a brother?
I don't know. I think it might be. I'm not sure who Jay is.
Oh, we would know him.
But he's obviously related.
Well,
he's Jim Harbaugh's son.
He's his son? Okay. Oh, I've never heard of this guy. He's 34. Yeah, so giving him a chance. But I like giving all those guys a chance to be a head coach. Maybe they'll get jobs. Or maybe they'll be the Michigan coach next year.
Off of a half? It seems kind of disingenuous. Okay, what if they're up 40-0 at the half? Congrats to Mike Hart. You got to come in and play mop-up duty? What decisions is he making? Well,
that's good.
Okay.
Did you really have a major problem with this?
No, I just think it's overcomplicating it. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. And weirdly, if they are let's just say for argument's sake, I don't think it's going to happen, but say Michigan finds itself in a dogfight of a game. Like who's going to be, things can get kind of confusing there on the sideline if no one's sure who's officially in charge.
Well, I mean, listen, Michigan famously had a head coach, Brady Hoke, who didn't wear a headset. So they have experience with this. But you know how I feel about these cupcake games. They're so stupid. Just get them over with. I don't even care. They're going to win 62-7, and it's going to be annoying. I want to see, unfortunately, Michigan, their whole schedule is like this. It goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks until basically Penn State in November, I think. So anyway, I don't care. I think they're going to kill everybody. Harbaugh, I love how Harbaugh is sort of using all this. He's very manipulative. I feel like he's recruiting us with all these statements.
Well, he definitely feels like the NCAA is holding a grudge against him.
Yeah.
So here's another clip from Jim Harbaugh. Samter, is this a clip where the one about to the knees? Okay. Harbaugh really, really feeling bad and in his feelings about the 3-game suspension.
I've heard people comment it's a slap on the wrist. It's more like a baseball bat to the kneecaps or to the shoulder. That's what I equate everything to football. Never missed 3 games unless it was for a broken arm or a dislocated shoulder.
A baseball bat to the knees with a self-imposed 3-game ban. Now, this is also the NCAA. They had like an agreement that Harbaugh was going to be suspended for 4 games, and then the NCAA, and they couldn't come to an agreement. It fell through.
Maybe if it was for the Ohio State game.
Yeah, well, the Ohio State game is 10 weeks after this or whatever.
So
9 weeks after.
You want to guess the spread on Michigan, East Carolina?
Sure. 35?
Oh, almost dead on. 36.
Taking the
honestly,
taking the points.
We should have called Harbaugh and the team. Maybe we could have coached a quarter.
I was gonna say,
like, why give it to these guys? They'll be fine. They don't need to coach a quarter. Give us a quarter against East Carolina. That would be fun. That being all this being said, you know that this could end up really helping Michigan in a way. They could have a chip on their shoulder all season long, and they have two returning Heisman candidates and a really great team. It's funny, a lot of people are still picking Ohio State, but that's regardless of that. This is just a blip. They are going to be really good, and Harbaugh is going to use this. He's already trying to use it. College coaches never stop recruiting / lying.
Yeah.
They're always the most manipulative people, and that's what you have to do.
I'm going to stick with my original prediction on Jim Harbaugh is that he's gone for the NFL next year. 855-212-4CBS. Wayne's in Albuquerque. He's got a thought on the NFL. Hi, Wayne. How are you?
Hey, guys. I like the fact that people are getting chances to play. I mean, there's women that are getting chances to be announcers and officials and stuff, and they never play football, so it'd be kind of cool to see those other guys getting chances. But my take was
like me and Perloff, you mean? Or
exactly. Everybody
let's do it for equality. Yeah, we're unqualified. Though,
Maggie, I know Maggie. She'd call a trick play on every play. You'd be so sick of it. You'd be so sick of it in 3 downs.
Yep.
but anyways, I was calling because I think a lot of you guys, as far as announcers, really push how strong the AFC is, and there's no doubt they're not. But if the NFC makes it, the last 2 of the 4 years, the NFC has won the Super Bowl. You can't say if you can make it, you could take it. And I think what happens a lot of times is that we pull this high cloud of this AFC is such a dominant conference and such a dominant force, but they're not winning every single Super Bowl. So if you can make it there, I don't think you should be knocking the NFC so much at all, because they're winning Super Bowls regardless of how strong or weak the conference really is. So
Wayne,
we need to still give credibility to the NFC.
Totally understand what you're saying. Once you get to the Super Bowl, anything can happen. We know that. Thank you so much for the phone call. That's just one game. But if you're asking me the quality of the quarterbacks from one conference to the next, it's not even close. I mean, the AFC blows the NFC out of the water.
But you might have said that last year, and it didn't play out that way. The NFC actually, I think I did this clip. I think they won the head-to-head battle last year against the AFC, because the AFC, all the offseason hype, and then it almost all fell apart. Denver was terrible. The AFC South was way worse than anyone could have ever imagined. So the AFC won the offseason in a huge way, but it was not good during the regular season. So I think that the difference is much smaller than people think. You're right, there are a lot of quarterbacks, but guess what? A lot of these buzzy teams are going to fall apart and be terrible.
That's fine. Beyond Jalen Hurts, okay, and maybe for the staunchest Dak Prescott supporters out there, is there anyone in the NFC who wouldn't trade their quarterback for, I could give you 6 names in the AFC, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, even at 40, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson. Perloff thinks Kenny Pickett's going to the Hall of Fame. Can I interest you in a little Trevor Lawrence? Let's see what happens with Russ, and of course Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert.
Yeah, but Trevor Lawrence probably got his butt kicked by the NFC last year. I mean, yeah, these guys are good.
But all these NFC teams would trade their quarterback for one of those guys I mentioned.
Yeah, but when actually they start playing football next year, watch like certain NFC divisions are going to destroy their AFC counterparts, because a lot of these teams are so dependent on their quarterback. They're kind of top heavy. Watch Cleveland be 4-13 or something. I'm telling you, last year you would have said the same thing. You had Russell Wilson in Denver. You had Justin Herbert in L.A. You had all these guys all over the place. And guess what? It all fizzled out.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up next, you're welcome to weigh in on that, by the way. How are the Packer fans moving on with life after Aaron Rodgers? We got a hint today. We get to that after this. This show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life, we're faced with tough choices, and the path forward, it's not always clear. So whether you're dealing with decisions around your career, your relationships, or anything else, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life, so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values, it's like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind.
You know, we've all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Taking a trip down memory lane in the break.
By the way, did I tell you guys about the poll I put up secretly? The rogue poll?
Oh, you keep doing this.
Yeah, I love doing this. And I think you're going to take exception to my wording, but we were arguing earlier about whether Ron Rivera saying that he wished he had played Sam Howell earlier was a throwaway line or was a sign that Ron Rivera is losing his grip on the team. So,
well, that's a little strong, but yeah, okay. No, I think.
How do you feel about Ron Rivera saying this about Sam Howell? If I would have known this, I would have played him sooner. Does it show Rivera has lost it, or who cares? 60% say who cares.
Okay, well, that's your poll of Eagles fans.
Yeah, I voted, and I voted for shows Rivera has lost it.
It's so unfair.
Way to stand up and be counted.
The key issue to me is that Rivera himself said that. You can't rip a guy for something he says about himself. Nobody, coaches.
Yeah, you can.
Not really.
Of course you can.
Definitely.
No. I think if you're really going to rip a coach as incompetent, then you have to get outside, somebody in the staff saying Ron Rivera's lost control of his team.
Wait, hold on. How about when Nathaniel Hackett attempted a 64-yard field goal on Monday Night Football and then said, I definitely should have gone for it after?
Honestly, the real problem was that he tried that 64-yard field goal.
No, I know, but then afterwards he tried to own it and said, I should have gone for a fourth down. I shouldn't have kicked it.
Definitely should have gone for it.
Well, he definitely still criticized the hell out of the guy.
Honestly, I did not, because the mistake was made on Sunday. Who cares what he says on Monday? You cannot call somebody out for a cell phone. I really don't. I think that's a rule. So if you screw up and you're the first person to get it out there, then you're safe.
No, I disagree. I think even if you get it out there, you have to realize that you're going to get some blowback. Because, yeah, it's cool if you want to own it. You should. It's called accountability, all that. But it doesn't mean you're not going to get criticized.
Well, I think
it's not a shield.
Well, I think the reason is like Ron Rivera is a head NFL coach. If he thought this was going to be problematic, he wouldn't have said that.
Well,
he was just being honest.
I know, but what about the Bieniemy thing? What about the Carson Wentz comment?
The Bieniemy thing, totally harmless.
What about the Carson Wentz comment from last year where he said, what's the difference between your team and the rest of the teams in the NFC East? And he said quarterback.
That, by the way, that one I think was more intentional than Ron Rivera let on.
Okay, but
that one I think he wanted to do.
Okay, but then after the Thursday night game that they went and played Chicago and they beat the Bears, then he's in the post game like basically getting emotional about Carson Wentz. So if he was trying to send a message, I don't know. It's like you're having it both ways.
Honestly, these are such minor things for Ron Rivera. There's a real problem. He's been there for about a decade and hasn't done anything in the playoffs. He's got to win football games, and that is the only thing we're judging him on.
They made a playoffs one year with a losing record.
Yeah. And they need to be better. You know what? I know you're kind of high on them. I'm kind of high on some of the talents. But then Chase Young has got a stinger and he's out. And it just feels like they keep on finding the banana peel. And I don't think that has anything to do with Ron Rivera not realizing Sam Howell was good in practice. I mean, that's so irrelevant.
I know my Chase Young Defensive Player of the Year candidacy. It's took a little bit of a hit.
Yeah.
That was always going to be a long shot, but I liked it. Chase Young.
No, I still like it. I think you should put down 5 on that.
Listen, he was the defensive rookie of the year. It's not like I'm going out on such a huge limb. He's a second overall pick. Let's get to Aaron Rodgers.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Well, this is Rodgers adjacent. This is a bar in Milwaukee that is trying to profit off of Aaron Rodgers' losses, and specifically Jets losses. So this is a story that we read in USA Today.
Yeah, for the win. By the way, they're not profiting off of Jets losses. They're going to lose a lot of money if the Jets lose because they're so anti-Rodgers.
Yeah, they're running a promotion here that I would imagine they think they're going to end up making some money off of this. But this is Jack's American Pub in Milwaukee is running a promotion where they will pay for your bar tab if the Jets lose.
Right. This is going to cost them a lot of money. Okay. I've been to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Trust me, the average purveyor of a place like Jack's American Pub, they're putting out at least 6 beers in the course of a Sunday afternoon.
Okay, so every time the Jets lose, it's free beer or whatever, free booze on them. Now, there are a couple caveats here. Got to read the fine print a little bit. Number one, Aaron Rodgers has to be playing in the game. It can't be Rodgers gets hurt and then Zach Wilson is out there blowing it. They're not going to pick up your bar tab for that. Number two, you have to be seated and have a drink ordered at least 15 minutes before the game kicks off. And you have to be there, obviously, until the bitter end. Number three, this promotion does not exist in games where the Jets and the Packers are playing at the same time. So you can't just go out to watch the Packers and, oh, by the way, the Jets lose, and then all of a sudden you don't have to pay for your drinks. No. You have to be there to watch a Jets game. Now, there's only 4 times this season where the Jets and Packers overlap, so it's not that often. The other caveat, this does not cover food, and yes, I think that's it.
So I think a smart fan who likes to drink, many football fans, they're going to look at the schedule and they're going to look at the odds and they're going to pick smart games and go out and get hammered. But then it's interesting.
And their butt's going to be in the seat well before kickoff.
You're going to be 11, imported beers in because you're like, oh, yeah, Mahomes is killing him here. Then if the Jets come back in the fourth quarter, it's going to end up costing you a lot of money.
I know.
You're like, oh, I can't believe Aaron Rodgers just did this to me.
I know.
You're going to be drunk and poor.
I mean, that's kind of like most weeks. If you're really committed. I love this promotion. I love it. I think that it's fun. Listen, is it a little, I'll say petty? Is it a little like, hey, it's not like you're left with nobody. You do have Jordan Love who's here. Perloff is madly infatuated with Jordan Love. You have a first-round pick waiting in the wings. You've been grooming him this whole time. So to be like sort of running a promotion on Rodgers, does it seem a little bit like, you're bitter because Rodgers has been traded away?
Well, it surprised me a little bit because Milwaukee is one of those famous nice sports towns like St. Louis. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of bitterness. And when Tom Brady left the Patriots, we know a lot of people who are Patriots fans who just followed Tom Brady to Tampa Bay. They were rooting for Tom Brady. It doesn't feel like any Packers fans are rooting for Aaron Rodgers.
You're right.
He didn't carry over any fans like Brady did.
You want to know why? I think that how it was painted at the end of New England, the era, was that Brady, I don't think this is necessarily true, but it was painted that Brady would have stayed. And it was Belichick who wanted to push him out the door. Yes. The Alex Guerrero stuff, the fact that they drafted Jimmy G in the first place.
There's definitely been some arguments about what is that the case in Green Bay, though, because Rodgers seemed like he came out of his darkness retreat and then found out the Packers didn't want him.
Right.
I kind of believe that's what happened. I think Rodgers would have gone back to Green Bay.
Yeah, but it just got a little, it got a little weird at the end.
Yeah, he wasn't returning calls, they said.
He was at the Malibu house. He couldn't get reception.
I think bottom line is they wanted to move on more. Yeah, I don't know what the difference. Actually, I think the difference is Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls and Aaron Rodgers won 1.
Maybe.
I think Rodgers probably upset some fans with all the talk about going back and forth about retirement and do I want to be here. Maybe that got exhausting because he's a different person in New York.
Yeah, that's true. Brady never flirted with retirement. Not until the end, and then when he came back. He had the one retire and then come back, 40 days later or whatever. Less, 30 days later. But Brady was not talking about retirement. Rodgers was.
Yeah. And also, Brady, when he went to Tampa Bay, it's been less in your face. It was during the COVID year. This Rodgers, went to the biggest media market and is kind of on TV all the time. I think that would be a little obnoxious for Packers fans. I don't think Patriots fans cared one way or the other about the Bucs coming into the season, right? There's no rivalry or anything there.
No. 855-2124-CBS. Love to hear from some Packer fans. Are you still holding a grudge against Aaron Rodgers? And will you be partaking in this promotion? I don't know anything about this bar. Anyone know? Is it famous?
Road trip.
Another one?
Can keep adding more and more.
Looks like it's pretty fun.
If it's not famous already, it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to see get the menu up real quick. Would you guys like the brunch menu or the lunch and dinner?
All about brunch.
Okay. Samter, not surprising. You seem like a brunch guy. Ooh, this is good. Donut holes, pulled pork hash.
Yes.
Chorizo burrito.
First of all, I'm not sure if I should be offended by this whole you seem like a brunch guy. Is that like an insult, or is that you seem like fun on a Sunday?
No, you seem like you'd be a good brunch companion.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like Samter's you're not saying no to the bottomless mimosas.
I am now. I used to be all about them, but now it's like a mimosa and I'm good.
Why?
Or bloody.
Because you had the child?
No, because I can't handle my liquor anymore, and I'm old. If I have more than 3 drinks, I'm done for a week.
Look at you. If your fraternity brothers could see you now, Samter.
Oh, yeah. We all joke about how terrible we are now.
Everyone's gone.
We have one or 2 rogue friends who are still living the dream, but the rest of us are just sad, pathetic old dads.
Is it the dream or the nightmare?
I guess for them it's a dream. For me, I couldn't even imagine it.
No Jameson pancake shots for you? Because that's on the brunch menu at Jack's.
Wait. Jameson pancake shots.
Yeah.
Explain.
Oh, my God. This sounds like the bougiest place in the history of the world.
Jameson whiskey, butterscotch, Dr. McGillicuddy's, and an orange juice chaser.
Oh,
I understood 3 things you just said there. I have no idea what that was.
I think we should go. 855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so do you think that Rodgers, does he deserve this sort of ire from the Packer fans? Whether he's getting it or not, we're not sure. Does he deserve any of it? Coming up, an unreal situation with a star player. He was really nearly taken out by a fan. Get to that in just a moment. After this CBS Sports Update, here's Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
Well, the NFL roster deadline has passed with teams needing to be at 53. Jonathan Taylor, still a member of the Colts, with the team reportedly not finding a suitable trade offer for the Pro Bowl running back, who does remain on the PUP list, and he will miss the first 4 games of the season. Von Miller also will miss the first 4 for the same reason as he recovers from an ACL injury last November. The Panthers released linebacker Deion Jones, who they had just signed a couple of weeks ago. They also acquired Amir Smith-Marset from the Kansas City Chiefs. Will Lutz and Sean Payton are reunited with the Broncos, acquiring the veteran kicker and releasing Brett Maher. The Patriots have dealt Nick Folk to the Titans, and a surprise cut was quarterback Bailey Zappi. Ohio State head coach Ryan Day named Kyle McCord as the Buckeyes starting quarterback for the season opener against Indiana. He gets the nod over Devin Brown, who Day said has earned the right to see action this season as well. The Seattle Mariners, with 4 straight wins and sitting atop the AL West, they've been sparked by Julio Rodriguez, who had 4 hits, including a homer and 3 RBIs last night, while the Brewers look to make it 10 in a row tonight in Chicago. I'm Rich Eck.
CBS Sports is everywhere, at home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Ready? This is Andrew. Okay, right? Okay. This is Andrew Perloff with a CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Prevagen. This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute, sponsored by Prevagen. The unofficial deadline for the Colts to trade Jonathan Taylor has passed. The team will reportedly hold on to him for now. Makes sense. Oh, hold on. Let me start again. The unofficial deadline for the Colts to trade Jonathan Taylor has passed. The team will reportedly hold on to him for now. Makes sense. No other team was going to give up assets for the right to pay a 24-year-old running back. If you've been paying attention this offseason, the NFL does not want to pay running backs. Taylor could be the missing piece for a team like the Eagles or the Dolphins. They don't care. They're sticking to their guns about not paying a position that has become somewhat generic in the NFL. Now we wait until the real deadline on October 31st to see how the Jonathan Taylor saga plays out. I'm Andrew Perloff. Saga or saga? How do you say that word?
Three minutes remaining.
Okay, actually, is it okay if I do the whole thing again? Yeah. You good? Oh. Okay, I'm actually going to do the read one more time. The unofficial deadline for the Colts to trade Jonathan Taylor has passed. Okay. The unofficial deadline for the Colts to trade Jonathan Taylor has passed. The team will reportedly hold on to him for now. Makes sense. Another team would have had to give up assets for the right to pay the 24-year-old running back. If you've been paying attention this offseason, the NFL isn't paying that position. Taylor could be the missing piece for a team like the Eagles or the Dolphins. They just don't care. They're sticking to their guns about not paying running backs. Now we wait till the real deadline on October 31st to see how the Jonathan Taylor saga plays out. I'm Andrew Perloff.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, the Defensive Player of the Week is sponsored by the Navy Federal Credit Union, who proudly serves the Armed Forces, DoD, veterans, and their families. Their members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. This is a tough week. I mean, I guess you got baseball going on.
Preseason.
Preseason, yeah, but can you give somebody a Defensive Player of the Week for preseason? I think I have it, though. If you've been watching that, whatever this international basketball thing that's going on right now.
Oh, yeah, FIBA.
Austin Reeves is the best player in all of America, and he's been picking pockets left and right.
No, Anthony Edwards is the one who's been the standout player.
Yeah, but Reeves won player of the game last game and was just simply dominant. And there was one play where he picked the pocket of the Spanish guy or whatever, and he's been incredible. It's bizarre how good Austin Reeves is. So I think it's Austin Reeves.
I've got no guess. Who is it?
Wow, no guess. This might be the first time in their history.
Well, I mean, I got to think of something. Did you do Sauce Gardner just to be because you're such a Jets fan?
No, Sauce Gardner got burned a little bit by the kid from Tennessee.
Jalen Hurts.
Wait, Mike is picking? I didn't know Mike was picking. I thought Jack
Stu's not here.
So I didn't know. That doesn't...
Listen, nothing against Jack is fantastic, but this is too important of a decision to put on somebody.
Well, I would have guessed some Jets.
I mean, this took hours and
Yankees
hours of research.
How about Ellie De La Cruz?
Contemplation.
Ellie De La Cruz threw a guy out at 100 miles an hour yesterday.
That was amazing. But no, it was not Ellie De La Cruz. You guys are thinking about completely wrong thing. Yeah, we have preseason football, but we also had regular season college football. So this week's Player of the Week is Vanderbilt's DeRicky Wright. The Commodores senior safety picked off 2 passes, including the game-sealing interception with a $1:43 left as Vandy took out Hawaii 35-28 for their second straight season-opening win.
I mean, that was a nail-biter of a game.
It was a one-touchdown game, and he picked it off to win it. Vandy football. Come on, commies.
Yeah. Catch the fever. We had a funny conversation with our pal Dave Marinick before the show. Works at CBS Sports Radio.
Getting burned.
Already in the hole.
Getting
week
burned
zero.
Week 0.
That UMass game really put him back, apparently.
That was bizarre. I want to play...
He said he's been fading UMass for a year.
Weird. I mean, UMass...
It's such a good strategy. UMass, and I don't want to give away the rest of his tips, but he's been fading UMass for years.
There's definitely high schools that could kill UMass, right?
No, UMass looked good against New Mexico State.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's a brand new day for the Minutemen.
If you took Katy High School or IMG, they could beat UMass. Anyway, regardless, I got a fun game.
I'm not going to fight you on that one.
There is a release, a player who was released that I don't think anybody. I didn't see one whisper about it. I don't think anyone could have guessed it. It is a quarterback.
Oh, interesting. I was going to say, DeMar Hamlin made the Bills.
Yeah,
People
that's
were worried
really cool
about that, but
we could. Mike and I both know it. We can maybe give you hints. I want to see how many hints you need to guess this guy.
Well, you said Nathan Peterman, which.
Well, yeah, but he's going on the practice squad. This guy was actually just released.
So a quarterback who was released. I didn't see the news, and you were surprised by this. Why? They're
Shocked.
a backup.
They're a backup, but everyone thought that they might be in competition to be the starter. That's your first hit. Not everyone thought. I mean, people thought, he could push the starter. Like
Kyle Trask or something?
No, nope, not him. That would have been good. You're in the right ballpark.
I'm in the right ballpark.
The second hint is...
Wait, it's not Andy, was it? Dalton?
No, it's not Andy. The second hint is he is a little bit interchangeable with the person above him on the depth chart.
Not your boy Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi.
No, the Patriots released Bailey Zappi.
Isn't that the craziest thing
he wasn't having a good preseason, I don't think.
Still, this is being portrayed by the Boston media as a shock.
I think it is a shock. I think Robert Kraft likes Zappi. That was the thing, right?
I'm more shocked that Malik Cunningham went along with him.
Yeah, Malik Cunningham. They were talking about how he's going to be this all-purpose star for him.
So who's going to be the backup to Mac Jones?
Right now on our lads, it's listed with no backup. They're going all in on Mac Jones.
No.
They might be waiting for Nathan Peterman, I think. Let's be honest.
Nathan Peterman? What about Will Greer?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, what's his name? Bobby Hoyer? Not Bobby Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer shakes free because of Aiden O'Connell in Vegas.
I know, but see, the thing about Brian Hoyer is, he's too old to play.
No, he's not.
Well, not too old.
He's the same age as your guy, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but he's not Aaron Rodgers.
So what? Brian Hoyer there was nothing to lose in the first place, athleticism-wise.
No, but if Mac Jones has to miss games like he did last year, then Brian Hoyer can't win you games.
Yeah, but you know who else can't win you games? Nobody.
Well, Bailey Zappi could have.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi did last year. So this is so bizarre that they're cutting him. I mean, can you think of a better option than hoping that Hoyer? I mean, Hoyer always comes back to the Patriots.
There's no question in my mind. I know why the Patriots cut Bailey Zappi.
Why?
Because Belichick is tired of answering the questions about Zappi and Mac Jones all year. Every single week, it was Zappi or Mac, Zappi or Mac. Belichick just got so pissed off about it. He's like, you know what? Screw. I'm just going to get rid of Zappi so no one can ask me about it anymore.
I know, but that'd be so anti-Belichick of letting the media and the outside forces actually.
But it would be
make a
very
decision for you
Belichickian to troll the media as hard as possible.
But Belichick has made cuts and trades that we did not expect. He does not care.
This is not Richard Seymour, but yes, I get what you're saying.
It's a little bit. I think it's exactly like Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. He let Jimmy Garoppolo go because he wanted to support Tom Brady, or he was forced to support Tom Brady. He didn't want Mac Jones to have to look over his shoulder. Just like it's basically the same thing.
I mean, he got a second-round pick for Garoppolo. Probably could have gotten a first if he had just traded him to Cleveland instead of San Francisco. If you want to go back in the Wayback Machine on that.
I'm kind of kidding. Obviously, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi is not Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought that was obvious.
It's not the same, but it's a similar.
There is a sort of quality, just the Patriots making surprising moves because no one ever knows what Belichick is thinking. This is surprising. I mean, there's got to be something. Can we keep our eyes open and see who's going to play backup quarterback?
Wait a minute. Brian's in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, says Maggie doesn't listen to Ack's headlines. Did Ackerman say this?
Yeah, you actually walked outside.
I walked out of the studio. It's not that I wasn't listening. I walked out so I could get some tea.
Ack was on the mic, and he goes, the Patriots have released Maggie. I go, what? And actually, I felt so bad. Ack gave me a look like, dude, I'm trying to do my job here. I said the loudest, what?
I mean, in Perloff's world, this really is like earth-shattering news. You love backup quarterbacks.
Honestly, did anybody see Bailey Zappi getting cut? It just sounds so weird, and we don't even know. I'm trying to find
I saw maybe Bailey Zappi getting cut if they really love Malik Cunningham, not cut along with Cunningham.
Yeah, I thought Cunningham, because he could play a little wide receiver too.
Here's some options. Oh, sorry. Somebody on Yahoo has some options. Will Greer is out there, although I haven't seen the news that he got cut. Colt McCoy is out there.
Oh, Colt McCoy. But I don't think that he has a history with Belichick.
No, Jake Fromm did really well for the Commanders. That would make sense. Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, John Wolford, Chase Daniel, who's on a podcast now. Trevor Siemian just got cut. He feels like a Patriot backup.
Do any of those guys seem like better options than what Bailey Zappi did for the Pats last year?
Yeah, kind of same.
But actually, so John Wolford, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't know. Some of these guys are all had their moments.
Think John Wolford's pretty good?
Yeah, John Wolford. Remember with John Wolford when McVay's like, I want to start this guy over Jared Goff?
Yeah, and then they brought in Baker Mayfield on 1 week's notice. I guess that was a couple years ago with Wolford, but still.
I don't know. Nick Foles beat Belichick at a Super Bowl. He's not he's not terrible for a backup. I mean, we're talking about, none of those guys are bad backup options, are they?
No, they're not. It's just to Samter's point. Are they that much better than Zappi? I don't know.
I think some of them might be a little bit.
Perloff, the way that Perloff's acting about Bailey Zappi getting released is like that, that the 49ers just traded for Steve Young.
We opened shows last year with Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones. This was a big deal.
I was so ready.
Playing.
I was so ready for the Zappi Mac Jones controversy this year. I was going to be, and like in New England, they love this one. They love asking. Mike's right. Every week, hey, is Mac Jones still the starter? What are we going to talk about with the Patriots now?
I don't know. Maybe they might win some games. We might be talking about
They're
that.
definitely going to be 8-9, 9-8. There's nothing to talk
Zeke
about.
Elliott rushing for 200 yards a game over the first 6 weeks of the season. I rejuvenated Zeke Elliott.
If Zeke Elliott has a 200-yard game, I'll do one of my driving to somewhere crazy bets.
I'm telling you, you guys, you make fun of the Patriots and you sleep on the Patriots, and they still have a good defense.
Maggie, it's PTSD. Give it up. Belichick is done.
Yeah.
The Patriots are over. The dynasty's finished. Move on. Be happy. The Bills are there.
Are you telling me I should get some BetterHelp therapy and talk about my Belichick demons? Probably right.
Yeah, they're probably going to be good, but 10-7 and go out on the first round? Who cares?
They could play spoiler for someone else. You know?
What do you mean?
This isn't the Bills meltdown, but this is Bills adjacent. Yesterday was Aaron Rodgers getting too many calls. Now it's Belichick. You can't sleep on the Patriots. These are all these Bills adjacent meltdowns that you haven't had yet, but you're going to. It's building.
I've gone 8 days without having a Bills meltdown, and if trading Boogie Basham 9 days before the season didn't do it, I think I'm in the clear. 855-212-4CBS. Thomas is in Milwaukee. We were talking about this restaurant in Milwaukee. This bar is running a promotion where they're going to pick up your bar tab every time the Jets lose. A little get back at Aaron Rodgers. Thomas, you know this bar.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So when I used to go out and go to bars and stuff, I don't so much go anymore, but it's on the east side, which is kind of like the college town, which is where UWM and Marquette and all them go. So it's like a 2-story bar. It's got an upper level and a lower level. It's a pretty nice sports bar to go to and drink and eat and stuff. So
this would not be an insignificant bar tab is what you're saying. It's not like they're playing, they're not doing quarter beer nights and stuff.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, people go there and they usually don't, they usually run up the tab pretty quick. But I also wanted to comment on Rodgers, and you said most Packer fans don't appreciate him or don't like him. I'm kind of, especially watching Hard Knocks, I kind of have a different view, because he's being the Aaron Rodgers that we all loved, at the Jets. And now some people are bitter, but I see that Rodgers that I fell in love with, and that's kind of, I kind of miss him now, and I'm more hooked on the show because he's acting that way and because they're featuring so much. So
you're saying Aaron Rodgers was like that early in his Green Bay days, 2009 to 2015?
Yeah, for most of his career, and then once they drafted Jordan Love, that's kind of only went downhill from there. So,
man, I get what you're talking about, Thomas, and thank you for the call and fleshing that out for us. It reminds me of someone, you're married to someone for a long time, doesn't work out, you get divorced, now they're with someone new, and they're taking them to all the places you used to go to, and you're going on all the vacations that they used to go to, and finally the person's trying again, and it's a little bittersweet, we had that once.
That never lasts, though. That person, that new husband will always revert to the whole thing, and then he'll be forced, I have a major problem,
move on to wife
hopefully
3.
I don't do this, but on my Europe vacation.
Yeah, go ahead.
There were some men who were clearly with their much younger second wives, and the second wives would be like, all right, let's hike this mountain and do this thing. And the dudes would be like, I'm 84. I'm doing all I can. And she's like, I don't know, 50 or something, and it's like, oh, man, this is just painful to watch. But that being said, I could end up being one of those guys. I hope not. I think it's more like my wife chooses to leave me. But
I'll be honest, when you start talking about much younger second wives, I'm thinking 60 and 30.
Yeah.
Not like an 80-year-old with a 50.
I'm telling you, have you ever had
there's a world out there like that. Trust me.
Have you ever played that game daughter or second wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. But honestly, and I Al Pacino having a baby at 83, that's a lot of energy.
Well, or a lot of it concentrated in one thing.
Yeah. I don't know how we got. How did we get here?
How did we ever get anywhere?
How did we get to
it's like Rodgers being in a new relationship with the Jets fans, and the Milwaukee fans remember what he was like back then. Remember when he used to take you on European vacation?
So the Jets are his younger wife.
Yeah, exactly. He's rejuvenated now, taking trips to Europe. Coming up, the biggest question we have for the upcoming NFL season. Do that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
whole industry, and everybody who says that they're good at tasting wine is lying. I think it's the biggest mass lie.
It's all perpetrated by big wine.
In the history of mankind, there's no bigger lie than people can tell which wine is good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I love people who are like, I'm just tasting and spitting out, and like, I'm not here to get loaded. Get out of here.
Wineries are the scenes of so many crimes. People get sloppy at wineries, like dress over your head type stuff. Once my husband and I, we were still dating, went to wine country, but took bikes.
I just had this image of you following your husband on a bike, just veering off slowly into the right, tipping over, and just like, Maggie's asleep on the sidewalk.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Lots of moves happening in the NFL today. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Some notable ones that we get you right here off the top, Perloff, and that is Jonathan Taylor was not able to find a trade, but that doesn't mean you're going to see him in a Colts uniform to start the season. He's also being put on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, so he will miss the first 4 games of the year.
Yeah, it's so interesting because he'll have to go back to the Colts there. And everyone says the Colts have a young quarterback. Wouldn't it be great to have Jonathan Taylor as a support system? I can't see Jonathan Taylor getting back on the field for them. He's so upset with the team. Feels like they got to trade him at some point, so why couldn't they get it done here?
Well, they said no, reportedly, to whatever the Dolphins offered. Yeah. Now, we don't know what it was, but they obviously weren't just going to move him at any cost. They were waiting. The rumors were they want a first-round pick. That seems crazy to give a first-round pick, and then also you're going to have to pay a running back, which is just not happening right now. Also, in quarterback news, a little bit of a shocker, I guess, when it comes to backup quarterbacks. Perloff was stunned. Bailey Zappe's been released by the New England Patriots. Yep. Not just that, but also Malik Cunningham. So right now, the Patriots have no backup quarterback. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, they must have a plan here. You don't just cut all your backup quarterbacks.
Unless they want Nelson Aguilar throwing passes.
If I had to bet on who it was, it's always Hoyer. They can't quit Hoyer. I mean,
they can't. It's Josh McDaniels. You know, at some point, McDaniels is going back to the Patriots, too.
You think that Tom Brady's going to play forever? Brian Hoyer will be a Patriot until long past the days we're done doing this.
Yes, he will outlast us all.
But he's kind of like me in basketball. He never had any athleticism or arm to lose.
Yeah.
So he can be a good backup quarterback. And it does seem like Aiden O'Connell has gotten the job in Vegas. Sorry, I'm a little behind. Like, is Will Grier gotten cut yet in Dallas?
We are waiting to see. I mean, after they traded for Trey Lance, the Cowboys, that is.
And they have Cooper Rush.
They have Cooper Rush, who we saw went 4-1 last year when Dak Prescott was hurt. Listen, to be fair, Bailey Zappe won both of his starts last year when he filled in for Mac Jones.
Yeah,
so
and put
obviously
up good numbers.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Will Grier was 29 for 35, 305, and 4 touchdowns in his last preseason game. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the preseason. So
still pretty cool, though.
Anyway, some of the bigger things that are coming out of today, which is the trade cutdown day. Okay, let's get to our NFL preseason debate series.
NFL preseason debates countdown. 9 days.
That's it. 9 days for the Patriots to find a backup quarterback. No, 9 days until the NFL season starts, everybody. So today's preseason debate, will Jalen Hurts win an MVP?
What, first of all, I don't understand 2 things. You mean this year or ever? And why is this a debate? Of course Jalen Hurts is going to win an MVP.
this year.
It's still barely a debate. Of course he's going to win a debate. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the Eagles are still going to be really good. They have so much young talent everywhere. They have a great receiving core. They have a great tight end. They have an improved running game. They could even improve it more by bringing Jonathan Taylor at some point. Who knows? And they have a great, you know about the O-line. Jason Kelsey came back. So all the ingredients to be just as good as last year are there. I think the competition ahead of him is flawed. Last year, he lost it to Mahomes because he got hurt.
Right.
It's going to be a Michael Jordan effect. They're not going to give it to Patrick Mahomes. They're just tired of handing the award to Patrick Mahomes. So that's my theory. That's going to knock out Mahomes. Burrow is dealing with injuries. Josh Allen, I just think he's got such a high bar. He has to have an amazing year. Justin Herbert, these are the guys ahead of Hurts on the odds. No way it's going to be Justin Herbert. So the only one who actually really scares me is Lamar Jackson, who's right behind Jalen Hurts in a lot of the odds. But I feel like Hurts should be the front runner, not 6 in the odds.
Okay, I hate to break it to you, but the same thing that happened to Josh Allen happened to Jalen Hurts, which is the bar is now raised so high because of what he did last year before he got hurt, but then also, leading the Eagles to the Super Bowl. And frankly, he could have been the MVP of the game if it, had the ball bounced a few different ways. Jalen Hurts would have been your Super Bowl MVP. So I think it's going to be just as hard for Hurts. I also think it's a narrative award, and he got close last year but couldn't finish the deal. And I think they're always looking, besides Mahomes, who could win it by default if everyone's bunched together. I think it's the opposite of the Jordan effect. I just see that Hurts is going to have to blow him away, or they like fresh blood. They want someone new. They want a different story. Last year was the Jalen Hurts story, right? That last year was Jalen Hurts. Wow, no one even wasn't sure if he would even solidify the job coming into the season. And now look at him. He's an MVP candidate. It's really hard to get back up to that mountain without blowing everyone away. And the Eagles are going to have a much tougher schedule this year. Last year was just cakewalk for them.
So let me tell you about another Philadelphia athlete who was second place for MVP and couldn't get over the hump. And eventually voters just tired of not giving him the MVP and just handed it to him.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid.
And it was a mistake because Jokic was so good. And I think everyone, I think all the voters looked themselves in the mirror as Jokic is hoisting the trophy and barely caring about it and was like, ooh, we made a mistake. Jokic is definitely better than Embiid.
Yeah, but they'd just given Jokic 2 MVPs and seen him flame out in the playoffs. Listen, Embiid led the league in scoring at 33 points a game. It was a perfectly fine MVP. If Hurts has just as good as stats as other guys, he'll get it, because I think that narrative of him coming close and not getting it is interesting to people. Also, he's a second-round pick. People like that, a bit of an underdog. He's always been like that. He lost his job at Alabama.
Yep.
He's got a great story, and he's got a secret weapon, too. It's got this push play where they did not outlaw it, where it's a rugby formation. We know he's going to get 15 rushing touchdowns. They never hand the ball to a running back in the red zone, kind of like when Cam Newton won the MVP. That's going to look good on his resume. There's a lot of reasons to think he's going to get good numbers. But to me, the most important thing is the Super Bowl. So he had a great year. The best game of the year he played was his last game. He got better and better
Except
and better.
for the pick six, but yeah.
Yeah, pick six was a big mistake, but he was so accurate. He was throwing dimes all over the field. It was amazing to me that he developed to that point. We didn't see anything. He got hurt, remember, the latter part of the year,
sure.
Chicago. And I never thought that, he didn't do much in the playoffs. He didn't have to. I didn't think he was going to be like that, but that was unbelievable. He went, throw for throw with Patrick Mahomes.
I understand, but the history of teams losing in the Super Bowl and then getting back to the Super Bowl the next year is not pretty. And so
I don't want to hear about that.
The idea that he's going to have this really great year, and honestly, book is out on the Bush push or whatever,
Can't do anything. I don't care if the book is out.
I know, but everyone knows it's a little, I'm not going to say fugazi, but no one thinks it's fair. It doesn't feel fair. And by the way, the whole league's going to do it this year. I'm sure it's the number one install that everyone has now.
But honestly, I think Hurts is part of the reason it works. Have you ever seen that guy's legs are huge? He's so strong that he helps. I don't think you're going to be able to push Mac Jones over the pile.
I don't know. Mac Jones, 20 pounds of muscle this offseason.
You're a team in a suit? That guy definitely wears it.
Best shape of his life.
I could see the linemen sticking their hands into Mac Jones' midsection and just kind of being soft.
Aw, no. Come on. Mac Jones cares. A couple other things for today. So you're welcome to weigh in on Jalen Hurts, 855-212-4CBS. A couple other things, though, to clean up from the roster cutdown day. DeMar Hamlin did make the team for the Buffalo Bills, so you got a feel-good story there.
You're a Bills fan. Is that because of the feel-good aspect or because of need or a combination of two?
Both. I mean, for sure. Not only is it a feel-good story, but they're probably going to need DeMar Hamlin to play and to play well.
Amazing.
And Von Miller was put on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. That means he'll miss the first 4 games of the season. I asked if there's a double PUP. Can he miss the first 8 games? Just come back.
Yeah. You've actually shared that theory before. So, but I thought you were upset today about him missing the first 4 games, especially with that big Jets game to start the season.
Well, if he's not healthy, then it doesn't matter. I just think it's weird when teams trade guys 9 days before the season for future draft pick swaps.
Talking about Boogie Basham?
Yeah, just keep him. He's cheap. you can always use more defensive linemen and offensive linemen. No one's ever like, man, we got too many offensive and defensive linemen hanging around here. Guys always get hurt. You never know when a guy's going to make a big play in a game. He was very disappointing as a second-round pick, but still, don't trade him to the Giants for a future seventh-round swap. Come on. Silly. 855-212-4CBS. That does not count as a meltdown, by the way. Earlier, we were talking about a bar in Milwaukee who's offering a promotion that they will pick up your bar tab if the Jets lose. Little in-your-face Aaron Rodgers. C is in Portland, Oregon, wants to talk about this fun promotion. Hi, C.
Hi. Yeah, I think what people are missing is that the Packers draft pick gets better as the Jets record gets worse. So, yeah, there's some bitterness, but ultimately, I think people are just cheering for the better draft pick.
Oh, that's smart.
So you think it's more of like it's more Jordan love and appreciation than it is Rodgers hate.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall people are hopeful, and we went through this once with Favre, and so it's a little old, feels a little old, but I think we're hopeful, and I think we just want a good draft pick and hope to get something out of trading him.
See, is there a Packers bar in Portland?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I figured. What's that?
They're everywhere.
What's that scene like on a Sunday?
You got to get there early because the games are usually on at 10 a.m. So it's a early call here for the Packers fans.
There you go. Well, wishing you the best of luck this season. Thanks so much. Don't be a stranger. That's my dream. My dream is for one season of my professional life to live on the West Coast.
Oh, for sports watching?
I just want 10 a.m. football.
It's not the same. I don't like it.
Oh, it's amazing.
I loved it.
Really? I feel like there's no urgency at 10 a.m. You're watching it, and I feel like it sucks some of the drama out of it. Like, West Coast fans are more laid back about football than East Coast fans.
I mean, I'd love a West Coast mentality to be a little more laid back about everything, but the witching hour still exists when you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite, actually, because you have to wake up early. Like on a Sunday, you have to wake up at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning to get ready for football, as opposed to like, let me just like get out of bed whenever I want to, stroll over to a bar at 12, 12:30, hang out with my friends at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I love this utopia you're describing here. It's not, you're describing college.
Well, I guess I was a little bit younger, I guess, when I was in Arizona. But still, like, you still have to wake yourself up at 9 a.m., right? You're probably tired. You probably were up Saturday night. And so now you're a little bit tired. You have to force yourself to get up and go to a bar or, like, sit on the couch and get your Sunday ticket ready.
Man, tough life.
I know.
You gotta find your way to a bar at 9 a.m.
But there's a level of, like, motivation that comes into it as opposed to just, like, getting there whenever you get there.
Man, I really feel for you on this, Samter. That must have been tough.
And then the day ends, and it's like, you got Sunday Night Football starting at, like, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then it's over.
You guys really like this? I think the current schedule is pretty good because then you do something on a Sunday other than football. So you get like a little bit of maybe go for a jog in the morning. This is old Andrew. Young Andrew was up until 4 in the morning.
But Samter is saying you can get an evening stroll in. You can do an evening jog after Sunday night.
But you're so exhausted after 12 hours of football that I don't think you're going to do anything very productive. Are you?
I mean, I have no interest in my day of Sunday is like football all day. I'm not waking up early to go for a run and then watch football.
Yeah.
It's just like, let me just prep myself for football and then whatever happens after.
Just like pick out whatever sweatpants you want to wear that day.
That's exactly.
The gray ones or the gray ones?
Maggie's whole idea of getting a treadmill to watch while she's watching football was way too ambitious. Who's working out on a football Sunday?
You want to know the irony of that? So I bought the treadmill because I wanted to walk during like the first half or something of these games. So I wouldn't be so sedentary all day. I never used the treadmill for games, maybe once or twice. I used it the whole offseason.
Amazing.
I know.
Are you going to have it this year? Are you going to change your strategy and use it for games?
No, I think I'm good. I'm going to sit there on my butt like everyone else.
By the way, YouTube TV Sunday ticket.
I signed up last night.
Oh, congratulations. I have no idea. I signed up in May or something. I have no idea how it's going to work.
Me neither, but they told you they're not going to charge your card until September 4th or something.
Okay.
They send you
I did
a certain
not know that.
date. Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to route it through my TV and pull up youtube.com on my TV.
You don't have a smart TV?
I do.
Okay, so do you have a YouTube app?
No. Actually, I guess is it an app? Yeah, I guess I do. But so it's going to come through the YouTube app and not a separate app?
No, I think it's just YouTube. You can go to YouTube app on your smartphone.
There's YouTube TV app, which is obviously way different than the YouTube app.
I did not buy YouTube TV.
Right.
Because I still have cable.
I think the Sunday Ticket's going to be on a third app. I don't think it's going to be on regular YouTube. I think it's going to be something completely different.
Oh, boy. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's not just like how you Google little things for like movie trailers for your son.
Okay.
No, it's going to be something totally different.
Yeah, but it's not. Whatever. You just download another app.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that worried about it, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I was so used to Sunday Ticket. This is going to be a change for me.
I think it's going to be better.
Nah.
I think
Why?
So.
What's the difference?
I think that you're going to have a little bit more flexibility on what you can watch and how many games you can watch. Isn't that what they've been touting?
Yeah, but you had 2, 3, 4, 8 games on Sunday Ticket.
Yeah, I guess you had 8.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
The question is about Red Zone. So NFL Network will still have its Red Zone. So if you get NFL Network, you don't have to pay for YouTube's Red Zone, right? I'm banking a lot on that.
So you have to pay extra for Red Zone on cable. And I pay it every year. It's not just getting NFL Network. You need to also pay a Red Zone fee.
Not on my sports tier.
Oh, lucky you.
So wait, you have cable, like old school cable?
I have like Verizon cable. I'll say the company, whatever.
Okay, I have Spectrum cable, and it's in my sports tier. I never paid extra for Red Zone.
Are you sure? Check your bill.
I'm positive,
Okay.
yeah. Because I've always had Sunday Ticket Red Zone too.
Yeah.
Okay, I will check my bill.
Yeah, check your bill. That's Scott Hansen. It ain't free. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. We'll get to you in just a moment. Yeah, like getting your ducks in a row here before football starts. And don't even get me started on college, because you're going to need Peacock, and you're going to need Peacock for the NFL too. You're going to need like 5 different streaming services to get through a college football season. This is going to cost like $1,000. 855-212-4227. I mean, like, kind of half kidding, but not really.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Not doing Peacock?
No.
How are you going to watch Bills Chargers? How are you going to watch Notre Dame?
Oh, I just signed up for Peacock solely for soccer.
What are the Peacock only games? I know there's a Peacock only game this week too. They're not good though.
I forgot the Notre Dame one.
But it's easy.
It's not like it's not the USC game, but it is a Notre Dame game that's Peacock only, and Bills Chargers is Peacock only.
And when is that a holiday game?
No, I don't think so. It's a standalone, but it's not a holiday.
Yeah, I'm going to steal that somewhere. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say this.
Whoa. Hold on a second. I mean, did you just admit to a crime on live national radio?
That Bills Chargers is Christmas week. It's December 23rd.
So the Notre Dame Peacock game, by the way, it looks like Central Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't miss that one.
Yeah, you better place a bet on that one if you want to keep interested. But I think there's a Peacock game this week or next week, week 1 or 2. I don't know. I get it. It's all going that way, but do we really have to pay for all this?
Yes, we do. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, see you guys on the phones. We'll get to you in just a moment. Also, we got Jimmy Garoppolo dishing on his former teammates Tom Brady and Trey Lance. What did he have to say? Pretty interesting. We'll get to it in a moment. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I just spent the break researching my YouTube Sunday Ticket account. I panicked because I haven't got any emails from them at all.
Yeah.
Nothing like, hey, you were psyched in 2 weeks you're going to have Sunday Ticket. I did get a confirmation email from June 1st saying, thanks for buying Sunday Ticket. Once the regular season starts, you can watch every football game. I'm excited. It said you can explore and manage your membership at any time by visiting YouTube account settings. I have not done that for fun this summer, but I'm going to do that soon.
Yeah.
But
Sounds like
I do
awesome
feel,
time.
I know America. There's going to be it's going to be a very interesting week one. Say YouTube has some delivery issues, like say there's buffering or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a bit of an adventure. And
Well,
then
we were
they'll
worried
figure
about
it
that
out.
with Amazon too.
Yeah,
and everything was pretty much fine.
Yeah, it used to happen on Sunday Ticket once in a while. There's nothing better than that 15-minute. At 3:45, I'm already getting psyched. 3:45 to 4:15 Sunday Eastern Time is the best half hour of the week every year.
Yeah, the witching hour. So that's what Scott Hansen calls it. Yeah, so I just went and looked up some other things as well about YouTube TV in the NFL, and it is just YouTube app. It's not the YouTube TV app, unless that's what you bought. I still have cable. So you just go to youtube.com/NFL, it looks like, and you'll see an NFL channel, and then you're going to be able to get DirecTV, Sunday Ticket.
Great.
Ticket.
Let's go.
855-212-4CBS. Let's go to our pal Mike in California. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Going great. How you doing?
Good. So, hey, I made the switch. When they first talked about DirecTV losing it and going to YouTube, I've been looking to get away from DirecTV for a while, so I got rid of DirecTV and I signed up for the YouTube TV package.
Yep.
It's not bad. The only complaint that I'm hoping they don't have this issue when it comes out for the NFL package is their guide platform as far as searching through different channels and stuff.
Yeah.
Every time you go into it, it goes to the top of the channel list. And they don't have channel numbers, so you can't jump down to 700 like it used to be on there. You actually have to scroll all the way down to go find it. So that's the only concern I have, that I'm hoping they get that resolved before for the NFL package. I will get a different platform for it. That's the only issue I've had with it. But as long as they fix that prior to it, I haven't had any problems with buffering or anything else, like on movies or premieres or top-rated TV shows or even football games and other sporting stuff. I've had no issues with it.
Well, that's good to know. And there's not another search function where you could just search out the channel? Probably not.
There is, but you have to sit there and type it in the entire time.
Got it. Yeah, and that's annoying.
So that's the only issue. Hopefully they've got a workaround for it, but that's the only thing I've had an issue with it.
Mike, what's on the menu this week?
Two things. We were talking in the chat earlier about tacos, so I'm making some birria meat tacos right now. I just put everything into the pot to get cooking.
Wait, what kind of taco? What did you say?
Birria. It's you take
I know it. Yeah.
And consomme and basically cook the meat all day long. And then for Friday, I'm going to be doing what we call Traeger shotgun shells. You take a manicotti shell that's been softened. You stuff it with ground pork, ground beef, cheese, jalapenos. Wrap it in bacon, smoke it, and then cover it with barbecue sauce.
Dude.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Mike, we're booking tickets. We're coming to see you. No, I'm just kidding. Get the extra towels ready and make the guest room up for us because we're going to come out. No, that's amazing. Can't wait to see it. And Mike posts the photos of this on the Maggie and Perloff unofficial Facebook page, The Perloffs, THEE Perloffs. Mike, thanks so much. Yeah.
Actually, I also posted the pictures of the birria tacos that I'm making right now. Previous pictures and the recipe today as well. So it's already on there.
Phenomenal. Love it. Thank you, Mike. Talk to you soon, pal.
I'm going to be honest. Mike completely lost me when he was describing the intricacies of YouTube TV, but he got me right back with those stuffed shells.
Man, those shells, I know. We're all recovering from that.
I'm just glad he didn't go full Italian, Menegotte.
I think that the show needs to take 5 while we all just sit around and think about what he just said. Let's go to Alex, who's in Scottsdale, wants to talk about West Coast football. Hey, Alex, how are you?
How are you guys? I spoke with you last year after the Bills Steelers games. I actually went to that, but I'm telling you, it does take adjustment to get used to the game starting at 10 a.m. And the funny thing is, not with football so much, but with the other sports, you go in the bar at 10:30 at night. It's not like the East Coast. When I was back in Pennsylvania in May, right at the NBA NHL playoffs, I went to it was a Buffalo Wild Wings at midnight, and they still had games on. You don't get that on the West Coast, so that's a little annoying. So if you go out for a late night thing, you don't have any sports on.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, but for college football, you won't. You won't. Unless Hawaii's playing, and then you might have something, but that's about it.
Unless Hawaii's playing, but are they even televised? They've been so irrelevant for 30 years?
I know, Alex. Hell if I know. I really don't. Interesting. Thank you. You've given us something to think about, and good luck to your Steelers.
It's the second time Hawaii football's made the show today.
I know. The Rainbows losing to the Commodores was a defensive play of the game or whatever. Stuart is in North Carolina. Stuart, how are you, sir?
Hi, guys. So I lived in Las Vegas for 12 years. There's nothing like starting times on the West Coast.
They're the best.
And here's why. When you're on the East Coast, you're waking up and you're waiting half a day to get to the starting times. And when the 4 o'clock games are over, you're thinking about Monday morning work. West Coast, you're getting up, the games are on, 4 o'clock games end, which are 1 o'clock there, and you still got half a day in front of you.
Yep.
It's amazing. You come home from work, you're watching the Major League playoff game or whatever. And Maggie, I'm telling you, if you moved out there for a year to do nothing but your show and watch sports, you'll never move back.
I believe you, Stuart. I believe you. Now, the one thing, and thank you for the phone call, the one thing is these Europe games, like when they play in England or they play in Germany, those games start at sometimes 9:30 a.m. East Coast time. So you're basically, you're middle of the night. You're 6:30 in the morning on the West Coast.
He reminded me sort of, that phenomenon growing up especially when a lot of games were on CBS and 4 o'clock or like the end of a Giants game or an Eagles game. And Pat Summerall saying tonight on Murder, She Wrote and 60 Minutes. The dread. It's like a Pavlovian response.
I'm so glad you said this.
I have to go to school tomorrow.
Those 60 minutes, the ticking of the clock, I'm like, do I have to do homework? Like, oh my gosh, I haven't looked at my backpack since Friday. I should probably check it out.
It's the most miserable. Sunday night is the most miserable thing for a student. Now I think East Coast Sundays are so intense. It's like no break until midnight, and you're so tired at the end. It's such a good feeling.
Well, but we like coming to work. We're lucky about that. So it's not so much dread. It's like, we get to go to work, and we get to talk about this. We're lucky in that way. But yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. That brings back I can feel how anxious I was. Like, oh no, I got a paper due tomorrow. Why am I only looking at this now after I watched, Chris Berman for an hour?
Man, you guys have much different schooling experiences than me.
Why? What was yours?
I'd never thought about homework after football. Maybe I should have been more careful with it, but I just remember, okay, football's over. Okay, time for bed.
Monday morning. Oh, school? Crazy.
I had that project due today?
Get out of here. Don't pretend that you went to a great college.
Yeah, I mean, I did okay in school and everything, but like football was, I don't know, Sundays was just like a different thing. Sometimes I would get my homework done like on Saturday or Friday, but I would never.
You had no anxiety about it?
No, because once Sunday was over, it was just like, okay, it's over. Now it was like just this. Now, more than likely,
I was supposed to read War and Peace, but never got to it.
The remote control was most likely busted into like 4 pieces because the Jets lost again. I threw it against the wall, but
yeah.
God, I still have nightmares that I'm not ready for class.
Really, still?
Oh yeah, that I didn't study for the test.
That's probably about work now.
No, it's always school.
I know, but don't you think it's transferred now?
Oh, you think it's like deeply really about work?
Yeah.
No. I'm still like, I was such a goody student. And like that terror of, it's years ago now, but that terror of not handing something in, you would not have liked me.
I'm glad I met you when I did.
As laid back as you were on Sundays, I was the opposite. I was carrying the burden.
No, the only time I ever had like a bit of like a panic attack about it was I woke up in the middle of the night once my senior year of college thinking I didn't have enough credits to graduate.
Yeah, I had that too.
All this money and blah, blah. Okay, Sean is in Oregon. Sean has a big-time bet going on with Perloff right now. Hey, Sean, how are you?
We're doing good, and I always thought that the best part of the West Coast, or at least one of them, is the sport.
Yeah.
Because, like especially like the working class guy, like construction workers, we get up like 4:35 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so we're up naturally, like even when I sleep in till like 7.
Yeah.
So you've already been up and we start serving hard alcohol here at 7 in the morning at the pubs.
Do you get to pregame?
Well, no, I'm talking about just going out to breakfast. You can go down to the truck. You can go down to any place. 7 o'clock in the morning, that's when we start serving.
That New York City is the same type of way. You wouldn't think so, but it is because people are working constant shifts in this city. So you never know. Someone drinking at a bar at 8 a.m. is because they've been up all night working their shift. But, Sean, you've got a big bet with Perloff right now, which is Perloff, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I have the Jets finishing first or second in the AFC East. Sean has them in third or fourth.
And the stakes.
I got him at least in third. And we ain't taking a darkness retreat. I'll tell you, that's like a reward. That's like taking a nap or doing some meditation.
Oh, you're not into the darkness retreat?
So the loser would have to go to a darkness retreat.
Oh, okay.
Every day I take a nap. I do a little meditation.
Oh, okay. So, right, because you could just sleep in the dark. Okay, so, all right, I thought that would work, but I'm up for any steaks you want, Sean.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. I'm thinking about, I could send you a case of beer. You could send me a gift certificate to a decent restaurant that's around here. We could do whatever. I think even check this out. Hey, if I win, you and Maggie and Perloff send me an autographed picture of yourself saying how good I am.
Well,
because remember, Maggie, last year when I made this bet with Perloff, you wanted in on it until I told you I wanted you in squirrel gear.
I know, and I said, hell no.
Terrified.
Hell to the no. Not happening.
Sean, where do you live? Are you near Portland?
I'm right outside Portland. I'm in Boring, Oregon.
So I want some. Can you ship me some fresh copperhead salmon or whatever the kind of salmon that's so good there?
We can, and I can. We can do the fresh salmon, but we do like some really good smoked salmon. We do like we got the ocean going rainbow trout. It's called steelhead around here.
Yeah.
And that my local butcher shop I go to, Original Steer Meat Market in Portland, Oregon, they always have smoked steelhead.
Wait, is that something you can ship across the country?
Oh yeah, you could probably call them up. You can call them up today.
Okay, well that's what I want if I win. But then, what's something New York food? What's a New York food, Maggie? What are the Bears?
We can send them. I mean, there's a pizza. Is that
you can't send
a pizza in the mail, Ack?
Sure, you can.
I want an autographed picture that I can put in my sports room. I got a room in my house. It's all sports memorabilia.
Done.
We're happy to do that.
Done.
How about?
I want.
You know what, Sean? We could hook you up. Something that's a little New Yorky is like tomato sauce, famous tomato sauce. No, Ackerman.
He wants a sports picture.
Okay, we'll do the picture.
Well, I was looking up. I even looked on the internet. When last year I was thinking, well, what comes out of New York? What's good? I seen you got like a coffee place. You guys do your own coffee there. And we're a coffee place around here. We do beer. We do coffee. We do ganja.
You guys are great. Oh, my God. You guys are better than us at all that stuff.
We export, greed, anxiety, the less tangible things.
No. Pizza.
Bagels.
Bagels. The bagels are insane.
I've seen that, and I do appreciate some good appreciate
hey, Sean,
bagels.
you know what? I'm a Philly guy, and that is the greatest invention in the city of Philadelphia, not when Ben Franklin invented electricity. It's cheesesteaks. How about frozen cheesesteaks?
Well, see, that's why I backed out on that. You offered me his cheesesteaks last year, and I just don't know. Well, for one thing, I just don't. I probably wouldn't be at home when the delivery guy came here.
What a mess.
It ain't going to go to the post office. I just think, you know what? I wouldn't appreciate it.
All right. Well, Sean, we can definitely send you a photo, no doubt, and we'll inscribe it to you. Nice messages about how much smarter you are about the Jets than me and Perloff. We're happy to do that.
I want to check this out. I want to back this up to like 2 years ago when Perloff was on Dan Patrick's show, and Dan Patrick always talked about Russell Wilson and the coach up there, Pete Carroll, and he thought they were going to ship Pete Carroll out of town. So I called up there and I said, Russell Wilson's going to be gone long before Pete Carroll is.
I hope I didn't bet you against that.
No. Then this all happened, and then when I called JR on the JR Sports Brief show, and I told him last year before the season started, I said, this ain't going to work out for the coach here.
Yeah.
I said, this is first-year coach. And you know what he told me? He said, coach will not get evaluated on this first year of work. And he hung up on me, acting like I was an idiot. That's what JR did to me.
Well, I mean, listen, Sean, we've got the stakes now. I'm actually surprised, and Sean, thank you for the call. So kind of surprised he didn't want to do the darkness retreat. I mean, it's different than just taking a nap.
Oh, I'm so relieved.
Or meditation.
I do not want to do the darkness retreat. I had no interest in that.
You offered it.
I know as a stake for losing a bet, and we do serious stakes around the Maggie and Perloff show.
Yeah.
So for him, he's like, "Oh, it's no big deal." For me, that was a big deal. I'm glad he took it off the table.
All right, so he sends you some salmon, and we send him a signed photo. I think that works. 855-2124-CBS. Coming up, the one NFL team that's clearly tanking. Are they? We'll get to that in a moment after this CBS Sports Update. Here is Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports. Sports Flash.
Well, after all the talk, Jonathan Taylor remains a cult. However, he will miss the first 4 games because he remains on the PUP list. The Colts did not get an offer to their liking for the Pro Bowl running back, so he'll play out the season in Indy. 8-time Pro Bowler Von Miller will not start the season on the active roster. He too is recovering from an injury, an ACL injury last November, so he is on the physically unable to perform list. The Carolina Panthers signed Deion Jones a month ago today. They waived the former Pro Bowl linebacker. They also acquired Amir Smith-Marset from the Chiefs to shore up their receiving core. The Chiefs releasing safety Deion Bush and lineman Danny Shelton. Sean Payton turns to a familiar face. Shore up the Broncos kicking game, acquiring Will Lutz from the Saints. Brett Maher was released, while the Patriots also dealt Nick Folk to the Titans. They released backup quarterback Bailey Zappi. Kyle McCord wins the Ohio State quarterback job, but Ryan Day announced him as the starter against Indiana, but also said Devin Brown earned the right to see action this year as well. ESPN reports the Angels have placed recently acquired Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez on waivers, along with Matt Moore, Hunter Renfroe, and Randall Gritcher. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all live, all the time.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. This is interesting. Talking about football for a second, but just quickly to baseball. This is breaking news from Jeff Passan. The Los Angeles Angels have placed Lucas Giolito, Matt Moore, Reynaldo Lopez, and Hunter Renfroe and Randall Grichuk on waivers. So these are like a lot of guys they acquired at the deadline when they were going for it with Shohei Ohtani. And these are now just pure salary dumps because they are so far out of playoff contention. So they were going for it with Ohtani, and now they're out of it. So they're putting guys on waivers. All right, let's get back to the phones before we get to our shot of the day. 855-212-4CBS. Lots of questions around YouTube TV and how people are going to watch games on Sunday Ticket. Russell is in Redding, California, has a question for us. Hey, Russ, what's up?
Hey, first of all, thanks for taking my call. And second of all, I am just a mess right now with this whole Sunday Ticket swap over to YouTube TV. You know,
what are you anxious about?
Well, with the ticket, you can record. So I can always go back and watch Josh Allen and critique and be ready to call my favorite sports talk show next week.
Yeah,
but I don't know, are we going to have the capability of doing that?
So, yes, you will. I just looked up a tutorial here of what's going on with YouTube TV, and you will be able to record. So, excellent. And you don't need just if you sign up for Sunday Ticket, you can still record. You do not need to subscribe to YouTube TV in order to record. According to this video, too, it's not going to take up any storage in your smart TV either, which is pretty cool.
Well, I just hope the smart TV is smarter than I am, because it seems like you need a rocket scientist to figure this thing out. And I don't know how blessed we were with the Sunday Ticket because it was so user-friendly. Yeah. But on a serious note, go Bills. And I just want to thank the two of you for doing such a fantastic job since you got on the airwaves together. Your show is like no other. And I could be having a tremendously crappy day, and all I have to do is turn on 5 minutes of Maggie and Perloff, and the rest is history.
Oh, man. Well, thank you, Russ. That is awesome. Russell, thank you. That is the nicest compliment you can give us. So I hope that everything gets squared away with Sunday Ticket, and if not, call us back.
Yeah,
and we'll walk you through it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll give you Samter's home phone number.
We'll fly to Redding, California. Are you kidding me? After he said that, we'll fly to Redding, California and tinker with your actual television.
We will hold the wires together and let
too many hours trying to tell my dad over the phone how to do the most simple computer or TV processes. I have no interest in trying to walk someone through it. No. I'm sorry, Russell, but I can't do it.
That just means you're ready. You're seasoned. You've gone through the preseason. You're ready for the regular season.
The only reason why I didn't murder him is because he's my dad. Russell, you're in trouble.
We'll help you out, Russell. Robert is in Arizona. Robert.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Excellent.
It took me a while to get the number. I work and I drive, so I had to pull over. I finally got the number. You're talking about West Coast, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. football. It doesn't matter what time we get home Saturday night. Football on Sunday morning? Are you crazy? We get a bowl of menudo or a good breakfast burrito, and we're ready. It doesn't matter if we didn't get any sleep at all. Sunday morning football at 10 a.m.? Man, we're up at 9. We're already scanning the TV. I don't know what you're talking about, West Coast.
I know.
You know, I'm from L.A., but I live in Arizona. But let me tell you, Sunday morning football, we're there.
Robert, I'm with you. You make it sound like paradise. So we'll, hold a seat for us, and we'll be there in a minute. Thank you so much. I don't know what Samter's talking about. He's like, oh, you got to wake up at 9 to get to the bar. It's like, sorry to inconvenience you.
No, I'm not saying it as an inconvenience. I'm saying, like, it gets you up. It gets you motivated. You're pumped up in the morning as opposed to just, like, whatever time on the East Coast. I loved it.
Well,
West Coast football was awesome.
No, you're like, I'm still hungover from the night before. Now I got to go back to another bar.
Yeah, but waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning isn't the easiest thing to do when you've been up all night on Saturday.
I know. We have the world's smallest violin for you.
Do you guys ever, one thing is you have to set your fantasy lineup, and a lot of times I'll do it at like 12:57. I'm like, oh, my God, I've been running around all morning. And then the other thing, too, is I'm at the stage of life where you want to do a little bit of parenting on a Sunday. So the East Coast lets you, check that box a little bit.
Yep, I do that. I watch my kid until a certain cutoff time, and then I basically don't see him.
If you're in the West Coast, you can't get in any parenting time until afterwards, but he's going to be asleep after the Sunday night
I know,
game.
but I'm just assuming at some point he's going to be sitting his butt down on the couch right next to me watching for 12 hours.
I don't know. I just don't
Mom
think
of the year, everybody.
I think football is more intense on the East Coast. Something about the West Coast. I've watched a lot of games out there, and it's not quite the same.
Let's get to our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. And now that we're getting back into football, this is where I really love to pull out the cocktails, the recipes, getting down with the Casamigos on a Sunday afternoon, Thursday, Saturday, Monday night. Today's shot of the day comes from earlier in the show. What was the shot of the day? After.
Well, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers and, maybe having that ex-girlfriend fatigue or ex-girlfriend envy, and it somehow got off the rails.
Yeah.
On my Europe vacation.
Yeah, go ahead.
There were some men who were clearly with their much younger second wives, and the second wives would be like, all right, let's hike this mountain and do this thing. And the dudes would be like, I'm 84. I'm doing all I can. And she's like, I don't know, 50 or something. And it's like, oh, man, this is just painful to watch. But that being said, I could end up being one of those guys. I hope not.
Have you ever played that game like daughter or second wife?
Yes.
I love it. I'm 84. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
By what, just being in the buffet line?
Yeah, basically, that was what it came down to. I've never felt more sympathy for tired men in my life. But I guess that's what happens with a younger wife. By the way, I was pretty tired, too. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in my head a little bit. Are the Eagles going to sign, help me out here, Colt McCoy, Will Greer, P.J. Walker, or Bailey Zappi? Because I feel like the smart teams collect quarterback assets.
Well, I think right now, besides Zappi, who the Patriots let go, I really think that the Patriots have a little more urgency. You have Marcus Mariota as a backup.
I feel like
I love Mariota, but, he didn't have a
So Mariota struggled in the preseason. That's why I'm wondering. Will Greer seems like a real asset. Former third-round pick, had 127 rating in the preseason. Will Greer can play NFL football. He's a good backup quarterback. I don't understand the Cowboys at all.
You guys should have kept Gardner Minshew.
I'm not saying
I didn't mean that against Marcus Mariota, by the way. I like Mariota a lot.
Your Bills have a similar issue. I mean, they might look at some of these guys, too. And then the Patriots have to choose a backup quarterback. Will we know who it is by tomorrow?
I think so. I can't give you the number. We got to go. Thank you to Mike Samter. Thank you so much to Jack Hand. Thank you. We're out. We'll see you tomorrow. To the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers, the Callers. You guys are awesome. Peace.